Good morning from the city of Cleveland. The A's are red hot, and they are getting contributions from all over the diamond. The offense is well balanced. The pitching continues to lock down the opposition, and they continue to take advantage of mistakes from other teams. It's a good run for Bob Melvin and the boys, and today they will look to finish off a sweep of a struggling Indians team. Final game of the series, A's, Indians, next. Plenty of sunshine, still cool temperatures today in Cleveland. We are at Progressive Field. The A's are hot. They've won 8 out of 9, and today they will go for the 3-game sweep of the Indians. It's the A's and the Indians series finale coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Couple of right-handers today, Jesse Chavez and Justin Masterson. And Ray, Jesse Chavez coming off a start where he pitched a career-high 8 innings against the White Sox. He's been great each and every start this year.
You know, it's amazing. Every time he takes the mound, it's kind of a new starter because, remember, last year only 2 starts, but this year he's in the rotation. Look at great numbers for him. The game that you mentioned, but a great cut fastball, great 12-6 curveball, sneaky fastball. He works quickly, just like Justin Masterson, the sinker ball pitcher. These two guys are on. It could be a lot of ground ball outs. Masterson, you want to make sure you try to get the ball up with him pitching. The A's have been successful doing that with sinker ball pitchers, but it should be a great matchup today, especially because both work very quickly.
And the A's have dominated the Indians. They have outscored the Tribe 17-3 in the first 2 games of this series, and they'll try to finish off the sweep today before heading to St. Petersburg. So Masterson, Chavez is your pitching matchup in the series finale. We'll have lineups and first pitch from Cleveland in just a moment.
Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box and try the new Jack's Blazin' Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Couple of gamers and lots of sunshine today for the final game of this series here at Progressive Field in Cleveland. The A's and the Indians. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting Friday, May 23rd. 58 degrees and lots of sunshine. Not a cloud in the sky. So a nice day for baseball. Cool, but plenty of sunshine. And Coco Chris steps in the box. Justin Masterson kicks, and this ball game is underway. First pitch is a ball to Coco.
104 first pitch. So it's amazing how certain pitchers want to take the mound. They want to get the baseball and go.
And a quick 2-0 to Coco Crisp, hitting .252 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. Coco back in the lineup, facing Justin Masterson, the big right-hander. And there's a strike, 2-1.
Well, even though that was a strike, the important thing with Masterson is make him get the ball up. That ball was an elevated fastball, one that he does not want to throw. But it was taken for a strike. First 2 down and out of the strike zone.
Down the left field line and foul, so it's 2-2. Umpires, Tom Woodring is calling balls and strikes. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, he's down at third today. Two pitch is a hard slider down and in. A's won 11-1 on Friday, 6-2 last night, going for the sweep today before an off day in St. Petersburg. 3-2 pitches rolled foul off the facing of the A's dugout. Give you the rest of the A's lineup in just a moment. Another 3-2 pitch to Coco Crisp, and it's not close, and it's a leadoff walk. So here is the A's full lineup. Crisp, Lowry, Donaldson, Moss, Cespedes will DH with Moss in left field. Jaso, Reddick, Callaspo at first, and then Soga.
And Justin Masterson, a former relief pitcher, now a starter for the Tribe since he was acquired from the Boston Red Sox. It always amazes me why this young man does not have a better record, better ERA, because great sinking fastball, just consistency that looks for.
Swisher has it out at second, and that's a double play. So Lowry goes after the first pitch, and there's that sinker that Ray was just talking about, and it worked to perfection. 3-6-3, 2 outs.
Well, after a walk and Jen Lowry getting the first pitch, it did have the sinking action. It's about thigh high, but right to Nick Swisher, and looked like Coco Crisp trying to go on to the line of the throw from Swisher, but it didn't work, as that was as tailor-made as it could be.
2 outs, bases empty for Donaldson. There's your ground ball percentage, second best in the American League. It is a power sinker from Justin Masterson.
I think Dan Otero was explaining to us last night on the postgame after doing a tremendous job out of the bullpen. And as he described, he said some hitters try to get under the sinking fastball, and that's what you have to do. If you know the pitcher is going to throw the sinker where you're going to hit on top of the ball, you want him to try to elevate it, or at least get under it, hit the ball in the air. A couple of guys did it last night, but not a lot of success against Otero.
Donaldson 277 with 10 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Having a big series, 4 for 8 with a triple, a homer, 6 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. So 2-1 the count. Setting up inside, and then it comes across the plate, rolled foul.
Well, the controversial play last night, Josh Donaldson after the air about Aguilar at first base. Donaldson did this against Shaw, and as Donaldson said, he hit it hard and should have been ruled a home run, but it was ruled a triple after the review by New York, and Kaiba walked it today, and that rail is about 6 inches behind the pad. There's no way it could not have been a home run. It was definitely a home run.
So Masterson gets the double play, gets the strikeout to end the inning, and we are headed to the bottom of the first. Outside the ballpark today. Well, actually, I will try to explain it. There's a Lady Gaga concert tonight right next door in the basketball arena, and
what's he doing?
And the costumes were on. I walked by there today at about 9 o'clock, and there was lines around the building, and there was some very interesting outfits.
We just saw one.
Yeah, we just saw one. Indians lineup: Bourne, Aviles, Brantley, Rayburn, Murphy, Swisher, Santana, Chisenhall, and Ramirez.
Pretty common for Jesse Chavez to be making his first ever start against a club out of the bullpen. He has pitched against the Tribe, but this is his first start, and Jesse looking for his fourth win. Third came against the White Sox in his last start, and he was outstanding.
He kicks and fires a first pitch strike to the leadoff man, Michael Bourne. 250 for Bourne, no home runs, 9 RBIs, 1 hit in the series. That one's driven to right center, and that's it well. Coco's on the move, still on the move, still on the move, and it's off the wall. No, it's gone. It rattled around in the bullpen out there. It just got over the wall, and Bourne with a leadoff home run. So just like that, the Indians take a 1-0 lead. It looked like it dropped right into the bullpen where the guys are sitting.
Fastball is trying to get it inside, left it in the middle of the plate, and for Bourne, who does not hit a lot of home runs, does not have a great on-base percentage, gets into a fastball and leads off the game with a home run. So it was replay there, rattling around as Coco ran out of room. We saw Sonny Gray give up a home run to Swisher Friday night in the first inning. Coco no chance to jump, probably would not have had a chance to catch the ball anyway.
So first home run of the year for Bourne, and here's Mike Aviles. It's the 8th career leadoff home run for Bourne.
But it worked for Sonny Gray. I think he learned something on Friday night when he gave up a home run to Swisher when he ambushed him. But see how that changes, and there's a pretty good pitch with a cut fastball inside corner.
So Aviles is quickly retired. I think you heard Mike Aviles say, "That's not a strike." It's like we could have a good microphone behind home plate. Here's the defense for the A's. Moss is in left, Crisp in center, Reddick in right, Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, and Callaspo. Callaspo making his 6th start at first base this year with Jaso behind the plate. Here's Michael Brantley hitting the 3rd spot.
Well, that's a front door cut fastball inside corner, and it did break, and Of course, when a hitter backs off, he knows he cannot handle the pitch inside anyway. And of course, Jesse will use the cut fastball inside and outside.
Well, Aviles didn't like it. It looked like a pretty good pitch.
Yeah.
A couple of hits in the series for Michael Brantley. Side corner strike, 2-1.
Jesse Chavez in the last start against the White Sox gave up 2 home runs, and that's the only 2 runs he gave up. Cut fastballs, Viscedo, and then Abreu. Viscedo early and Abreu later in the 9th inning. Last batter he would face, 93 pitches. He also ended up throwing a great curveball when he got ahead with a couple of strikes and bounced the curveball in. You could see the hitters swinging aggressively, missing. After that, that's great notes there. 3:42 in the first. After that, settles down. Nada.
Chavez on the season has now given up 6 home runs in 52 innings. Ryan Rayburn, the cleanup hitter, waits in the on-deck circle. The 2-2 pitch to Brantley. Inside 3-2.
Well, one thing about Jesse Chavez, he will end up waiting a lot of times for the hitter to get settled. And he had to wait a while for Brantley to finally get in. There's no reason for him to stand out. Get in the box, and Jesse's ready. If you're going to slow him down, ask the umpire for time.
And the 3-2 pitch is in the dirt. And again, it sounds like the microphone behind home plate is working extremely well today, right?
Almost too well for a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I said to Nick Punto today after he grounded out, I said, boy, you were very vocal. And he said, you heard that? And I said, oh, yeah. I said, between just hearing it and hearing it through the microphone, you can hear it.
So here's Rayburn. Some lineup switches for the Indians today with Swisher and Santana, 2 struggling hitters, getting dropped down in the lineup. Probably something Terry Francona did not really want to do, but probably had to. Both those guys are really struggling, and they're middle of the order hitters.
And Rayburn hitting 4th today with a 184 batting average. As you mentioned last night, struggling to start this season.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Rayburn. Indians are 19-24. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 5 out of 7, and they got to be careful. They're 9.5 games behind the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central. And they will host those Tigers tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. Good pitch. There's that cutter. Grabs the inside corner. Rayburn is called out on strikes, and he doesn't like the call.
Well, I think some of the Indians hitters are unaware of the scouting report on Jesse Chavez, because this is not uncommon for him to use the cut fastball, where it's essentially like a breaking pitch that starts at the hitter. You get them to buckle their knees, and then it breaks sharply over the inside corner. A pitch that was developed and executed perfectly by one Mariano Rivera, who is no longer pitching. But the cut fastball is one that's so tough, but so good and great a weapon for a pitcher.
Well, the cut fastball it's his best pitch. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And he throws it 41% of the time.
What Hawk tell you? He said it best. Glad they didn't have the cutter when he played. It could mess up a swing where you think you're right on it, and then all of a sudden you're not.
Murphy chases a pitch down and in, and the count is 0-2. A leadoff home run by Michael Bourne here in the bottom of the first inning. Indians are 12-10 at home. They're 7-14 on the road. That one flipped down the left field line, and that's going to drop in for a hit. Brantley will stop at second base. So at an 0-2 count, David Murphy pokes one into left field for a hit.
Well, look how far John Jaso moves outside, and fortunately the pitch was up instead of down. Trying to get him to chase a pitch down, but the fact that it was up, just let Chavez provide the power with the location of the pitch and lofted into left field.
So here's Swisher hitting in the 6th spot tonight, or today. Couple of hits, including a home run in this series for Swisher. He's 2 for 8. Curveball stays a bit outside. Swisher with 3 home runs this year. Now has 234 career home runs. And it's 1-1. First pitch fastball on Friday night in his first at bat.
Sonny Gray. First pitch fastball, and Swisher got it.
Good breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Swisher hit that home run, and then the next 3 times he struck out on Friday night.
Didn't do the Ohio either. I'm sorry, you know.
I'm staying away from that.
Got to be consistent. That's a pitch.
Yeah, he tried the breaking ball again.
And Ty Van Berkeley said the one thing about Nick Swisher, and he in the past had seen him have success because he was very patient, but the one pitch, the curveball, he said he's trying to go out and get it instead of staying back, and he did. But Vanbo just trying to get him going, very puzzled at the start for both he and Santana.
Pitch number 25 coming up for Jesse Chavez, and here it is, and it's hit hard. Cayaspo gets a big hop, flips to Jesse, side retired. So a run on a couple of hits and a walk, and the Indians end up stranding a pair. 1-0 Cleveland.
Number 1, and let's take advantage of a struggling team because Tribe has been struggling and trying to get to Masterson early. Coco did, but as he raced on a double play, 3-6-3, and a couple of ground ball outs, not surprising for the sinker ball pitcher.
So Masterson has a 1-0 lead thanks to the Michael Bourne home run. It'll be Moss, Cespedes, and Jaso for the A's here in the 2nd inning. A's come in with a 27-16 record. That is the 2nd best record in the American League, and it's tied for the 2nd best record in all of baseball with the Milwaukee Brewers. Those with a 3.5 game lead over the Angels, 6.5 over Seattle, and 7 over the Texas Rangers. That one's driven to center. Bourne hustling back, still going back, and it is over his head. Rattles around off the wall. Moss round second, digging for third, and he's going to make it. So Moss with a leadoff triple here in the second inning.
And that's the power of Brandon Moss. And he kicked it into second gear as he approached second base. I think he was going to be settling for a double, but once he saw the miscue out in the outfield, he just kept running, did not break stride. But Bourne taking the ball, caromed a little bit awkwardly off the wall, and then he bobbled a little bit over to his left fielder. And of course, the different angle in the outfield and the spin once it hit the turf, but triple all the way for Brandon Moss.
So his second triple of the year, and here's Cespedes, runner at third, nobody out. Fastball inside to Cespedes, hitting .257.
Talking to Mark Shapiro, who is now in. Let's see, Chris Antonelli is the general manager. He was the GM, now I guess president, running everything in the Indians baseball operations. But he's talking about Brandon Moss, and he says that's just he's indicative of the type of personnel that the A's seem to get. Somebody who has not performed in other clubs. Maybe they ask him to do too much, want him to change. He comes to the A's. He's left on his own to do what he wants to do and can do. And here he is having a great year. So those are the kind of players you really enjoy getting.
Chisenhall grabs it. The run's going to score, and the throw is high, and it sails past everybody, and there's a little collision between Swisher and Cespedes. Let's hope everybody's okay. The run does come in and score, and it's going to be an E5. So another error by the Indians.
And that's a collision if you're the recipient of the freight train, because Cespedes can fly, and Chisenhall plenty of time. He just airmailed Swisher, and then as Swisher jumped to catch the ball that he could not, and he just got under it. Swisher jumped, and here's the ensuing collision. Really, fortunately for Swisher, did not really hit him with the solid contact, just spun him a little bit as Cespedes tried to avoid him as well. But it is an RBI E5, right?
Yeah. Gonna be a tough play, and the third baseman Chisenhall gets back there and he makes the catch, and Cespedes has to stay at second base.
Well, as Swisher jumped up, Cespedes kind of took him to the side and spun around. The ball in the photographer as well, so he is warded second base.
And Moss was running on the crack of the bat, and Chisenhall did not have a play at home. So indeed, Cespedes gets his 23rd RBI. Another error, 6th in this series for the Indians. 44 on the year. And sometimes, Ray, it's not what happens on the specific error, it's what happens after that.
That's right. Now
the A's have a runner at second base, and this is where the A's are so good at capitalizing on a mistake. Line drive grabbed by Ramirez, the second baseman. So Reddick lines out.
Yeah, that's well said, because while a pitcher will say that's okay, it's my job to get out of this inning, but when you have as many errors as the Indians have committed, that's a lot of burden to put on a pitcher to have to get out of so many jams all the time. And I think last night it was perfect, because Terry Francona had his club within one run, and a simple throw to first base that was dropped turns into three runs, and just really unacceptable at this level, any level in professional baseball, especially here though. And then you think also Nick Swisher, he's the everyday first baseman. He's the DH last night. You put a young kid at first base. Swisher makes that play 100 times out of 100 and makes the error, and A's were able to capitalize. But you said it right. They're hot. It's tough to make a mistake against the A's without them capitalizing, taking advantage of it.
Jesus Aguilar was the youngster that dropped the ball at first yesterday. The A's had the lead 3-2, and no, the Indians did not score again in the game. But the mentality is so much different when it's a one-run game going into the late innings, as opposed to what turned into be a 6-2 score when it was 3-2.
And you could see the lifeless at bats of the Indians, maybe just because of that.
One and two to Callaspo, looking for a 2-out hit. Grounds one slowly to Ramirez. Side retired. So the A's get a run. Moss the triple. Cespedes gets him in on the air, and it's a 1-1 game as we head to the bottom of the second.
chip and chili platter presented by Ross Dress for Less. This one-of-a-kind item and recognizes A's bench coach Chipper, Chip Hale, and hitting coach Chili Davis. The chip and chili barbecue platter will be a great addition to any barbecue. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets or call 877-493-BALL or call Chipper Chili. Maybe they'll have a supply and they could. You know what Chip said? He said they should supply the ingredients, chips and chili.
Sure.
You know, if they're going to give that away. So he's already campaigning for the complete package.
Santana, Chisenhall, Ramirez. Bottom three in the order. Santana hitting 156. Hard to believe. 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. Fouls another one back. Got a new shortstop for the A's. Nick Punto has come in. Do not know why. When we hear why, we'll tell you. So Jet Lowry out after an inning and a half of baseball today.
The only thing, maybe running to first base, something could have happened because he didn't handle play.
Close pitch a bit inside. You know, Lowry's okay. So Punto now at short. He's playing behind second base. 3-2 now to Carlos Santana.
Four shut down. Of course, leadoff home run by Bourne. He's tied it, and now Jesse Chavez trying to get his club back in the dugout. Still tied.
Good swing there by Santana. On the other hand, Jesse Chavez 13 for 14 in shutdown inning opportunities. Hit hard, nice play. Donaldson straightens up, throws in time. So Donaldson playing the shortstop spot, and he made a dandy play.
He's got some great hands and playing in a different position because of the shift, but what a play as he goes down to his backside, up and makes a strong throw. But Carlos Santana's got to be thinking, that's it. Yeah. That's my year. But the shift hit perfectly into it with Donaldson, the third baseman, playing in a shortstop position.
Here's the 8th place hitter, Lonnie Chisenhall. Chisenhall 353 with 4 RBIs. Indians are 8th in the league in runs scored. They're 8th in the league in home runs, and they're 8th in the league in stolen bases. So right around the middle of the pack. They got a run differential of -19. We talked about the run differential last night, and the fact that the A's are off the charts. They're a +85. Line drive down the right field line, fair. Reddick gets to it quickly. Reddick comes up throwing, and Chisenhall will have a double.
Didn't sound that crisply off his bat, but the result was exactly what Chisenhall had hoped. Been swinging the bat well. Jesse leaving the off-speed pitch up a little bit towards the end of the bat. Reddick plays those all so well, and strong throw, a little deep at second base by Punto, but just hooked it down the line, carried him off the sidewall.
And here's Jose Ramirez, who swings and misses.
I think you got a curveball or two today from Jesse, maybe in the dirt.
We have not seen good swings from this young man. He's 2 for 21 this year. It's a switch hitter.
And one of the things we mentioned, Kipnis, who's on the disabled list, and he is their everyday second baseman, excellent hitter. And Ramirez trying to fill in.
run differential. A's and Tigers, we said the two best records in the American League, also the two best run differentials. And that generally goes hand in hand. Other teams on that list having good seasons, and none better than the A's. Tigers have won 5 in a row. They'll try to sweep the Red Sox tonight. Tapped foul. Tigers have won 5 in a row. They've won 14 out of 17. And they're 26-12. That right there is the biggest concern for the Indians.
Well, and anybody in the Central. And the Royals actually supposed to be the team in the Central that this was their year to make it happen. And the Tigers off to such a great start. It's tough to catch them.
Hit hard to Puto, makes a nice play, straightens up and throws out Ramirez with Chisenhall going to third, 2 outs. Put some hard hit balls in this inning.
Nick Punto having to back up a little bit, but it's hit hard enough. He could take it to the midsection. Quickly release, looked to third base to make sure Chisenhall was not going to try to score. Rounding third base, but Punto, as most players, are always ready. They may not be in the starting lineup, but I think with the Athletics team, and especially with the pinch hitting and a lot of changes even throughout a game, guys are always ready, even the bench players.
So 2 outs. Here's Michael Bourne. So a 6.5 game lead for the Tigers over the Twins.
And that Twins, that's an 8-game difference in the loss column. That's the biggest part. You can look at records, but the losses are tough to make up.
Well, the thing with the Tigers, of course, they traded Prince Fielder, got Kinsler, but the guy now hitting behind Miguel Cabrera is Victor Martinez, and he's leading the league in hitting now. And nothing against Prince Fielder, who has struggled with the Rangers. May be able to make the argument that Victor Martinez may be better protection for Cabrera because he's a switch hitter and veteran hitter. And again, that's not a criticism of Prince Fielder.
But you know, that's exactly what happened, and it would have been 2011 when he missed the whole season. They signed Prince Fielder. But Victor Martinez got a lot of chances because they were intentionally walking Miguel Cabrera, and he came through big time.
Yeah.
Then he goes on the disabled list, misses the whole year. They sign Prince, and then ultimately they get Victor back. And you're right, being a switch hitter, tough to bring in a lefty or righty because he can just turn around, and he's able to come through with some big hits. He may not hit as many home runs, but he will come through with the big hits when they count.
Yeah, he's hitting .336. Aviles struck out looking in the second inning. Did not like the call, or in the first inning.
And we're seeing Jesse Chavez not at his best right now. He is struggling trying to find it. And it gets help there with swinging out of the strike zone. But Jesse taking a little bit more time in between pitches. And his curveball, they're not swinging. He's bouncing it. And fastball is running a little bit too much. But these are some of the changes that a pitcher has to make when he realizes that maybe his best stuff is not going to be there.
Now 1-2.
And he gets a good curveball here and drops it right in the heart of the zone.
So Aviles steps out, now steps back in. Bourne runs, pitches rolled toward Donaldson, who scoops it up, throws in time, side retired. So Jesse Chavez had to work hard, but he gets out of it. The Indians strand a pair, and we are through 2 from Cleveland. It's a 1-1 game.
Scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv, game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit athletics.com today. See if Larry puts athletics.com in red because he thinks I'm still going to say Oakland. So he highlights it in red.
Worried about you. Our producer, Delaire Lewis, he takes good care of us, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, you should know that we can still see OaklandAthletics.com for the rest of the year, and then it will go strictly to athletics. But that's okay. Delaire's really thinking. It's a good man.
He is a good man. Sogard grounds out, and here's Coco Crisp. Beautiful day in Cleveland. A couple of cold nights here at the ballpark. Still chilly, but it's the Mustard guy from the race, which we'll see a little bit later.
Said, hold Mr. Mustard. I'll put my glove on, maybe get a foul ball. Like to see young kids, even adults, bringing their gloves to the park, and just in case, keep it on their hand. You can't put it on top of their head or set it down by the feet, because the ball comes, you got to be ready.
Especially if you're sitting where those youngsters were, right behind the dugout.
You can bring your glove. You might get lucky and get an autograph. If not, get even luckier and catch a foul ball. What a day that would be. Take the pearl home and put it in your bedroom and say, I got one.
Or you could have a squirrel right across your lap like last night. And a wayward squirrel on the field. He ended up in the stands. Hope the little guy's doing okay today. Well, he was a bit lost.
I mean, if he's a wayward squirrel, you gotta hope he's doing okay.
He was wayward. 3-1 to Coco Crisp. Punto in the on-deck circle. Coco looks like he was just going to take all the way, and he's going to get a walk.
And I think sometimes Coco, what he did is just proof that you swing a lot of bad pitches, and if you just stand there and force him to throw a strike with as much movement, there he is, and he jumped the tarp, could not. Watch what happens here. He won. Let's go to the other side.
He was trying.
Yeah, he goes the tarp, and he's going to say, watch what I'm going to do. Here we go. Found a place I could jump, and then scared everybody.
Line shot, one hop. Nice play by Ramirez, out at second and out at first. What a play by Jose Ramirez, the second baseman. And it turns it into a 4-6-3 double play. And where they rank in the American League, and there's a lot of first and seconds up there, and it's all good except for the one down at the bottom. 8 blown saves, that's tied for the most, but good group down there. Last night, Ray, that group threw 7 2/3 innings, gave up just 1 run, no walks, and 6 strikeouts.
How about that?
Dan Otero was the hero last night.
You know, I think the surprise for us is Scott Kazmir had a long night off last night, and it's a few more days off as Jerry Lane ejected him, really without a warning. But I think
it was a warning. It just was really
well, yeah, about a 2-second warning. You know, I mean, he didn't,
if that.
Yeah, he barely made it to front of home plate.
This is Michael Brantley. Well, the consensus around the ballpark, from people involved with the Indians to people involved with the A's to scouts to writers, was that it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Just having a bad night.
We'll probably never know, but Jerry Lane probably thinks, yeah, probably wasn't a great thing to do. Of course, he did say, as he was talked to a pool reporter, and said, well, he was arguing balls and strikes, and that's an automatic ejection. Which, okay, that's fine. That's what you stand behind. Good pitch there, 3-2 to Brantley.
I think what he was telling him, you were showing me up, and instead of giving him a warning by walking out, like we said before, he just decided to eject it.
Line drive center field, the base hit for Michael Brantley. So Brantley with a walk and a single today. And that'll bring up Ryan Rayburn. Well, Jesse Chavez, who's been in the stretch a lot today, and he's going to be back in it. This is what happened last night. And watch how long the warning is. I'm warning you, you're out. So it's about 2 seconds. You're right, Ray, at the most.
For what? For what is he saying? For what?
Well, in the investigative journalism that we did, Ray, there was no foul language used.
No. Zero.
And that usually is something that you'll get thrown out of the game for.
Yeah, if you preface any statement by you, that's an automatic.
Wherever it's used in the sentence.
Yeah.
0-1 to Rayburn. Brantley can steal a bag. He's got 4. Has not been thrown out.
Well, it was not surprising that Bourne was running last inning, but that was with first and third, a couple of strikes on the hitter.
Rayburn swings and misses, and it's 0-2.
I think the amazing thing last night, Jesse Chavez was actually sent back to the hotel to get rest up because it was a day game after a night game. We showed him on the bench later in the game. He had actually gone to the hotel, was watching, realized Scott Kazmir had been ejected, came back and got dressed. And his reasoning was, and I think it was a good one, but he said, I knew that the other starting pitchers had thrown their sides. In other words, in the bullpen working on getting ready for the next start. He said, I only threw in the outfield long tossing just to stay loose. And he was thinking that if a pitcher was needed, he was going to come back, get dressed, and be ready to pitch for Kurt Young, Bob Melvin, if necessary. Because he was going back to the hotel after the game, after we had seen him both places, here. And, of course, he said he'd already gone back. But because the bullpen doing a great job, Bob Melvin did not need a starter, and everything's back to normal.
Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Rayburn strikes out for the second time.
3 double plays turned by Dan Otero in the A's when he's on the mound. This is the big one with first and third. First pitch thrown to Avelos, and he turned it into a 5-4-3 double play. And then another one, 6-4-3 double play. Probably the best turned by Dan Otero, started by him himself, off Nick Swisher to Lowry, and then back to first base to double up Swisher. So Dan Otero, 9 outs, 8 ground ball outs, 2 fly ball outs, and a strikeout, and he's probably ready to go today and throw a lot of pitches.
So Dan Otero now on the year. He's 4-0 with a 1.78 ERA. And that's the full workload of the bullpen last night. But the good news is that the bullpen did not throw that many pitches. No. Otero threw 32. So he may not be available today. But Gregerson pitched 2 innings. He only threw 18 pitches. So not only did they throw a lot of innings, but they did not necessarily throw a lot of pitches. And with the day off tomorrow, your bullpen is fine.
And Jesse also brought up the fact that because Fernando Rodriguez had thrown 2 innings on Friday night, coming back from Tommy John surgery, they probably were not going to push him. But, you know, it's just a complete effort by the starter, in this case Jesse Chavez pitching today, and the bullpen did a tremendous job last night.
Murphy grounds one past the diving Callaspo, rolls into shallow right field, and Brantley is going to go all the way around to third. The ball was not hit very hard, but Callaspo playing in, holding the runner, and he dove for it, couldn't get it.
Twice today, Murphy with 2 strikes, getting a hit. His curveball just raked it past Callaspo. He had, you know, normally a first baseman is going to get off 3 or 4 steps, but because Callaspo is new to the position, he took about 2 steps and did not take maybe another step or 2 that a lot of first basemen will, to cut off the hole between first and second, and as a result had to try to dive for it. Couldn't come up with it.
Now that's also a play where it helps if you're a left-handed throwing first baseman and your gloves on your right hand. Here's Nick Swisher. In this series, the Indians are 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position, including 0 for 3 today. Strike called, 1-1. Swisher came up with 2 on and 2 out in the first inning and bounced out. Swisher always with the good eye. Maybe this year, with the numbers down, maybe swinging at more bad pitches. That one fouled at home plate.
And Jesse Chavez got a big strikeout rate and a good curveball, and even though Swisher at times tough to strike out, he's been vulnerable to the curveball, and best case scenario for Jesse to get the strikeout with runners at first and third.
Long look in, 2-2. Fastball high. So now the count 3-2. See if Murphy moves at first base. Outfield shifted around toward left center. Infield shifted as well with Donaldson playing right at the shortstop spot.
If there's a throw through to second base, Brantley can walk home. The question is, if that does happen, what the A's are going to do.
Murphy runs, swing and a miss, and they'll let Murphy steal second base. Jesse Chavez gets the big strikeout of Nick Swisher.
And that's a smart play, because it was not going to be a very good situation for the A's with Jaso trying to throw out the runner at second base, because Donaldson, the third baseman, is in shortstop position, and anytime the runner at third can come down the line as far as Brantley could, best thing to do is take this curveball, take the strikeout, and be happy with it. And Jesse Chavez goes back to the curveball. That's been his best pitch. He gets a huge strikeout.
Here's Santana. There's a first pitch strike. Santana hit a ball hard that Donaldson made a nice plan and threw him out in the second inning. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Outside corner, strike 2.
So there you have it. 2-seam fastball inside, goes away. Now he can throw the cutter in. He could drop a curveball. He could elevate a fastball. Get 0-2. So many different things a pitcher can do, especially with the pitches that he has. Look how far Brantley's down.
That one is lofted towards shallow center. Coco coming in. Going out is Punto, and Punto makes the catch. He had plenty of teammates around him. He makes the catch, and the Indians strand a pair in scoring position. Chavez getting himself out of trouble in each of the first 3 innings.
A pop-up, and boy, the ball was in the air so long. Punto went out looking to Coco and eventually had to call for it himself. As Coco not in the picture yet, Sogard gets behind, and yes, Chavez just happy because he made a great pitch, 2 great pitches to get the hitter and then throws a third to pop him up, and fortunately able to get the out.
So Donaldson to lead it off. He'll be followed by Moss and Cespedes here in the 4th inning. Sounded like neck strain for Jed Lowry. So that is why Jed Lowry is out of the game. He came out in the 2nd inning. A neck strain. Here's Donaldson. First pitch is low. Masterson has allowed just 1 hit. That was the Moss triple. Masterson started this season with 5 consecutive no decisions, and of course one of those was opening night in Oakland.
That's a great pitch not to swing at. Hard sinker out of the strike zone. Chris did it best to stand at the plate. Good sinker ball pitchers will force hitters to swing at a lot of bad pitches.
First 5 no decisions, and then a loss in his 6th start. Better since then. Last start was a loss at Toronto. And it's a leadoff walk. And the 1974 A's team that won 3 straight world championships will be celebrated on Friday, May 30th and Saturday, May 31st. Raleigh Fingers, Reggie Jackson. Happy birthday, Reggie Jackson. Sal Bando, Vita Blue, Gene Tennis, and our own Ray Fosse will be honored. There'll be autograph sessions on Friday and a meet and greet on Saturday with proceeds benefiting the Jim Catfish Hunter ALS Foundation. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/1974. Moss goes around. It's Reggie Jackson's birthday today.
Well, it's good to see Reggie and Raleigh both attending, and should be Pretty representative lineup that played in 1974 against the Dodgers, winning in 5 games. And look forward to seeing Herb Washington. You know, look down on the runways, you get on the elevators, Coliseum, see those hurdles? Maybe they're out there for Herbies. It's a big hurdler.
I don't know what else they're there for.
Well, so Matt Weiss was telling me, I said, what are these here, Matt? They're just clogging up the hallway right in front of the elevator. And he said it's a new drill where players go under those hurdles. I thought you tried to jump over the hurdles, but these guys go under them. It's kind of a...
I'm going to try that next time I see him.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to walk around
Thank
like
you.
I've been doing for
Exactly. But I finally figured out, I asked, and that's what Matt said. It's a new drill that they're using. Wow. I'm not playing anymore. I don't know if I could do all these things. I get hurt just trying to do the drills that they want. Nick's trained.
2-2 to Moss. Good take there, and it's a full count.
Well, last night the A's had tied the score on a Donaldson base hit, and that quickly, and next pitch 3-2. Brandon Moss, the home run, giving him 9 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Also, actually, that was 35. He had the 36 with a double following Donaldson's triple. Wow.
And that one behind Moss. It'll be ball 4, and Santana will scramble after it.
See something new every day, don't you? That was a slider supposed to break sharply inside. It broke so sharply. Now, this is something you don't see often. Watch the slider. Watch where it starts and ends up. Ends up as Moss started to go back, decided to go forward, and luckily, well, either way, it was going to be reaching base because it was ball 4 or hit batter. But this started inside and never came close to the direction in which Masterson was throwing. Pass ball. No, wild pitch. Actually, ball 4.
So when it goes on the backside of the hitter, does that mean it's still inside?
That's a good point. That's a great point. Yeah.
And that one right down the middle of the Cespedes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Never thought about that. To be honest, he was trying to get him to swing with slider down and in. Moss took it the previous pitch, which indicate Moss is picking up the slider pretty effectively, pretty quickly. Why try it again?
Cespedes reached on the throwing error by Chisenhall, the third baseman, in the second inning. He knocked in a run on the play, so we got an RBI. And this one's popped up. Foul territory. Swisher coming down. Swisher with sunglasses on makes the catch.
Well, there's a quick pitch slider that Cespedes got under. Donaldson, the right-hander, walked on a 3-1 pitch. Moss, the lefty, walked on a 3-2 slider. Cespedes had a pretty good pitch to hit, but got under it.
So Jaso steps up. Jaso popped out to Chisenhall in the second inning. Jaso, a hot hitter. He's cooled some in this series, though. Does not have a hit in the series just yet. Well, that's surprising, huh?
Trying to change it up a little bit. He's going to a different color bat.
Drives that one to left center field. That's hit well. Brantley going back, and it's off the wall. One run's going to score. They'll hold Moss at third, and Jaso comes through, and it's 2-1 Athletics.
What a way to get him going.
I was trying.
Yeah. Another opposite field double, and the power of John Jaso going to the opposite field. Brantley playing relatively shallow, and an elevated fastball that really didn't sink down like he wanted it. Instead, watch how this ball just carries off the bat of Jaso. And Brantley had no choice but to turn around, and once it got over the head, Mike Gallego had to hold up Moss, who was hustling to third base, but no chance for him to score as the outfield of the Indians got the ball back in quickly.
So Jaso with his 10th RBI, and a meeting from the pitching coach for the Indians, Mickey Callaway.
2 walks in this inning would be 4 walks so far from Astros, and finally 1 scores. And remember, the 2 walks to Crisp in the first and third eliminated a double play, but Lowry had to leave the game, and then Punto took over. So back-to-back double plays, top of the order. This time, though, it does not work out for Masterson to get the double play, especially after the pop-up by Cespedes.
So now the A's a chance for a big inning. First pitch to Reddick. Swing and a miss. There's that slider that Masterson was trying to throw to Moss. Reddick lined out to the second baseman in the second inning.
Ground ball is going to score a run.
And that one's flipped to left field, and it's a base hit. Moss comes in to score. Jaso to third. Reddick comes through, and it's 3-1.
Well, that's great hitting. Why try to pull? Now, if he pulled the ground ball, he gets a run in. Instead, Josh Reddick did a great job as he gets the sinker down and away. And like Jaso, both lefties going opposite field. Watch this swing. It's like maybe even a backdoor slider, but it's outside. It was a slider, but stayed outside, and Reddick just hit it sharply to left field. Moss doing what you're supposed to do on a fly ball. Went back to the bag to tag, making sure when it dropped, he was able to score easily. Just in case Brantley came up with it in the air.
Oh, here's Callaspo. So Reddick. It's his 7th hit to left field on the year, and that one drives in a run.
And just as important, Cap, the fact the runner at third and less than 2 outs got him in, trying to do the same in this at bat.
And that one right to the shortstop, Aviles, who throws in time. Double play. So Callaspo hit it right at Aviles, but a couple of runs for the A's, and they take a 3-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to CSNCA fan photo. Name and hometown down, please. You're going to get a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. Manny Andrade from Pittsburgh sent his photo in at the Coliseum. Appreciate that. Nice looking family. It's 3-1. The A's leading the Indians here at Progressive Field. Final game of the year between these two teams.
That's a nice shot. Military and out enjoying an afternoon baseball game. You know, every Sunday at the Coliseum, the GovX, you know, the discounted prices for military, and it's good to see them coming out here in downtown Cleveland.
First pitch to Lonnie Chisenhall is a strike. So Jesse Chavez now has a 3-1 lead. You know, right? The Indians have taken a 1-0 lead in each game in this series, and
that's right.
They just haven't done much after that. Bourne with a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first today. The A's have come back, scored 3 times.
Yeah, you're right. Swisher Friday night with the first inning home run. But we saw Jesse Chavez against the White Sox in his last start, Coliseum. In the first 3 innings, he went pitches 11, 11, 11. Today, 25, 25, 22. So a little bit different for Jesse Chavez. And remember, he only threw 90 pitches in the first 8 innings in a game Tuesday at the Coliseum. And that's what he did. 93 total as he gave up the home run to Abreu in the 9th inning on the 3rd pitch he threw to him.
Chisenhall fouls it back. So today already at 77 pitches.
And this might be, and unfortunately, what Bob Melvin would not want, and that's to have a starter go 5. But it might be just a 5 and fly for Jesse today, considering the pitch count.
Now 3-2. Well, the Indians have had plenty of base runners today. They have stranded 6 through the first 3 innings, and they just haven't been able to get a hit with runners in scoring position. 3-2 pitch, curveball, strike 3 call. So a 3-2 breaking ball, and that's strikeout number 5.
Well, he did it to Swisher, he did it to Rayburn, and he does it on this 3-2, perfectly thrown. And well, we're seeing a couple of pitchers for the Athletics, the starters, who believe so strongly in the curveball. Sonny Gray, and look at Chisenhall is hitting the first base, thinking he has no chance to hit it. He gave up on it, and he's hoping it's ball 4, but it was not. Sonny Gray actually said, I feel more confident throwing my curveball for strike than a fastball. And he proved that on Friday night. He's proven it since he's been pitching for the Athletics.
To left field, Moss is back, settles underneath it. Jose Ramirez is retired, 2 outs. And that'll bring up the leadoff man, Michael Bourne. Well, last year, the Indians, they don't do it a lot, but they made a couple big splashes in free agency, and Michael Bourne was one of them. 4-year contract for Bourne and a 4-year contract for Nick Swisher.
And they were willing to give up the draft choices to be able to do it. First inning on a fastball, a 1-1 fastball that leaked too much in the middle of the plate into the bullpen of the Indians in right center.
Bourne slaps one down the left field line, foul. So Bourne signed through 2016. Been around with the Phillies, the Astros, the Braves, and now the Indians.
I have to wonder today with Fernando Rodriguez pitching well on Friday night, 2 innings, 2nd appearance since coming back to big leagues, and if he is not used today, considering the other pitchers who were used, Jim Johnson was not last night, wasn't used last night. Doolittle pitched the 9th, Gregerson a couple of innings, Abad 1, and of course Otero the most. With the off day tomorrow, I'm sure most of them, if not all, said they were available.
You would think. There's our good folks waiting in line for the Lady Gaga concert.
Have you ever been to a Lady Gaga?
No, I haven't, and I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that I probably won't go.
And that's a very thin limb, too.
She's very talented, but I don't think I'm going to go see her.
Curveball,
strike 3 called, and Bourne can't believe it. He thinks that one was outside, and Tom Woodring says it was not. So 6 strikeouts for Jesse Chavez, and he gets his first 3 up, 3 down inning. Sweep here in Cleveland before heading to St. Petersburg to open up a 3-game series against the Rays Tuesday night. Jesse Chavez. An easy bottom of the 4th, his first relatively easy inning in this game. Sogard, Crisp, and Punto against Masterson. 4 walks, 1 strikeout for Masterson. The walks have been an issue. Line drive over the glove of Jose Ramirez. Sogard needed a hit, and he got it.
Cap, if that ball had been caught, who knows what Sogard would have done, because had a little bad luck of late, and some balls hard but right at them. But this ball looked like it's going to be an atom ball, elevated fastball from Masterson, and Ramirez could not catch it. Fortunately for Sogard to be able to get on base with a solid base hit.
Yeah, that breaks an 0 for 18 stretch for Sogard. So now top of the order and Coco Crisp. These have had their leadoff man on now in 4 of the 5 innings. Coco with a couple of walks. And now 1-1. Ray, we should congratulate Tony La Russa.
Yeah.
He's got a new job.
New title.
Chief Baseball Officer for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
How about that?
Absolutely.
Well, good luck to Tony La Russa.
And the Diamondbacks and his good friend Dave Duncan, who had already joined the Diamondbacks.
So Dave Duncan is a pitching advisor for the Diamondbacks. Remember, there was some talk in the offseason, and I don't know how far it went or if it happened at all, but that Tony La Russa had some thought about him joining the Mariners organization.
As their president.
Yeah.
They stayed in-house. But he wanted to get back in baseball, and I think Tony was interested in maybe purchasing a club, or at least being involved in owning a club. But who knows what this is going to turn into. But the Diamondbacks off to a slow start, started in Australia against the Dodgers and continued states. So Tony, a great baseball man. Not surprising that the Diamondbacks were interested in having him join the front office.
3-1 to Coco Crisp. And another walk. Coco walks for the 3rd time, and the A's are in business again.
Have to go back to last inning when a couple of curveballs were called to the Indians hitters, and they were complaining. But the difference in the last pitch thrown by Masterson versus the curveball thrown by Chavez, the Masterson fastball keeps running away from the lefties, whereas the curveball by Chavez comes into the strike zone. And that's why the home plate umpire Tom Woodling has been ringing up the Indians hitters on the backdoor 3-2 curveballs.
But the bunts in the air, and it drops foul. Well, there was a extended disagreement to end the inning. The strike called to Michael Bourne, and he may have had a legitimate complaint.
But I think just the fact that they are coming in, and there's a discussion with Tom Woodling, and Tom Woodling, one of the new umpires that's joined the crews around baseball. We're seeing new umpires, and today at least was working for Jesse Chavez.
Punto drives one to center field. Bourne got a good jump, and he makes the catch. And Sogard thought about tagging, but hustles back to second. Now, Punto hit that right on the nose, but Bourne got a good jump, and he was shaded over a little bit toward left center.
Well, after one attempt, and Punto looked like he was going to drive one into the gap, but you're right, where Bourne is playing, and the first step, getting the good jump, robbing, and it looked like Coco thought Sogard was going to go to third base, and he was going to try to follow him into second.
So 1 out for Donaldson. Donaldson lays off the slider. That's Josh Outman. And the pitches are Pitch count's at 64, but Masterson has just not been sharp today. 5 walks now, 1 strikeout.
I remember Masterson is a free agent. He settled his arbitration case prior to actually going to the hearing. He was going to be in Florida and ended up heading to Arizona for spring training, settling with the Indians.
And that's a base hit to left field. Brantley charges. They're waving home Sogard. The throw to the plate is not in time. Sogard slides in, and it's 4-1. The A's lead. Another big hit for the Athletics. They've been getting them the whole series, and the Indians have not.
Well, anytime a ball is hit the left side and only 1 out, it's great that the ball is hit on the ground because it enabled Sogard to get the big lead on the ground. Gallego able to send him, and Brantley throws well. And just a little bit offline when Santana went after trying to bring the ball back and looked like Sogard might have stumbled a little bit going around the bag, but able to score anyway and give Donaldson his 35th run batted in. You know Gags is going to send him. Watch what happens right there. Whoa, keeps his balance, takes the short turn around the bag, and Sogard goes in with a head first slide, touching the plate with his hand. You know, Donaldson, that ball that was hit, it ruled a triple last night that was reviewed, challenged, whatever, reviewed, but said that ball seemed to carry. He said, I crushed it. So the swing that he puts on a hanging curveball, it's amazing how much he gets behind it and is able to drive it.
So a run in for the A's, still only 1 out as Moss steps in. So single walk, line out single. Moss, a shot past Swisher down the right field line, bounces off the side wall. Crisp will score. Donaldson to third, Moss to second with an RBI double, and it's 5-1. The A's are at it again.
And that's another one of those loud hits by Brandon Moss. A loud sound. And so there's the double. He had a triple, a walk. This ball elevated by Masterson, and it was crushed. Swisher, pretty good first baseman, not able to handle the ball getting past him. And quickly, A's really tacking on in this inning.
So infield comes in for Cespedes.
I'm sure those infielders really like that, huh? Come in even with the bag with the power hitter. Cespedes hits the ball on the ground.
So 3 of the 5 walks now have scored for the A's. Not a lot of pitches down underneath the knees by Masterson. I mean, good quality pitches.
And it seems like every time he elevates one of his sinkers, it's hit hard by an A's player.
There's a shot to center. Bourne stumbles, and he's not going to get it. It's over his head. 2 runs are going to score. Cespedes with a booming double, and it is 7-1. The A's lead.
Well, you stay close and you have a chance, and that's what the A's seem to do. They work the walks, and it's going to be the last pitch thrown by Masterson, and just not quality pitches today by the tall right-hander. And Cespedes showing his power over the head of Bourne, who stumbled momentarily but was not going to get to it anyway.
So Masterson 4 1/3, and he gives up 7 runs so far. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Well, the A's have scored 4 times here in the 5th inning to take a 7-1 lead.
What would you think would happen? You see now with the pitcher warming up, you have the 4 infielders congregating behind the mound. You have the 3 outfielders in center field. What if everybody just stayed at their own position? You know, I always wouldn't wonder what they talk about while pitchers warming up. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, do
they just gather?
Are they saying,
because,
wow, we're getting hammered here?
Yeah.
This really stinks?
But, you know, I often wonder because, you know, Masterson struggled, but you have 4 and 3, 7 players standing around talking, you know.
I hope it's about baseball.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea.
5 walks for Masterson, 3 scored, and he's out of the game. Cespedes standing at second with the double. And here's Jaso facing Josh Outman.
Josh had a perfect inning on Friday night. A 1-2-3 inning amongst a lot of relievers, and Terry Francona using several relievers after his pitcher struggled from the beginning.
Down and in, swing and a miss by Jaso, 0-2. Outman came to the Indians in the offseason. The trade was in December from the Colorado Rockies. It was Outman for Drew Stubbs, the right-handed hitting speedy outfielder. So straight up, Stubbs for Outman. Remember the Indians from last year. Remember, this was a playoff team last year. They lost some fairly important pitchers. Chris Perez, Joe Smith, Matt Albers, all left from the bullpen. Ubaldo Jimenez left. Yeah. Scott Kazmir left. And Jaso swings and misses. So that's out number 2.
I think still waiting for Trevor Bauer to surface, and 3 identical pitches headed to the back leg of John Jaso, but swinging through all 3 was the left-hander.
I mean, Ray, take Ubaldo Jimenez for example. 13 wins, 32 starts, pretty good ERA. Now, I'm not saying that the Indians should have given him $50 million like the Orioles, but the point is if you lose a guy like that, he does have to be replaced.
Exactly.
Scott Kazmir. Kazmir made 29 starts last year, won 10 games. He's gone. So and then you get 3 guys in the bullpen that all pitched a lot of games for you. They need to be replaced.
The Indians and 2 players, those 2 pitchers, $72 million.
There you go.
Yeah. So maybe budget-wise, not something. And you know, Ubaldo Jimenez has those moving parts. You never know what you're going to get from him on a consistent basis. And I think Scott Kazmir, it just was a kind of a stepping stone for him, because he had a great year with the Indians, proved that he's back in the big leagues as a major league pitcher, and someone was going to want him, and it happened to be the A's because Bartolo Colon was not re-signed. 2-year contract with the Mets. So yeah, A's got a little bit younger, and they got a pitcher who once again proved that he is definitely a major league pitcher.
Reddick hits it foul.
And Scott Kazmir jumped in that classification of being a starting pitcher. It actually got ejected early, because starting pitchers don't get ejected. I mean, it's usually a position player arguing a play on the bases or a swing or an at bat, but very rare for a starting pitcher to get ejected. And I think his comment was, "What for? What did I do?"
Yeah, I mean, the Indians are they're not going to go overboard, although some people say maybe they did with Bourne and Swisher. Their payroll this year is $82 million. That's 26th out of 30 teams. And their highest paid player is Nick Swisher at $15 million a year.
Now, when you're averaging about $13,000 a game, that does not help you to expand your payroll and try to develop within the system.
2-2 pitch in the dirt, and now 3-2. Indians won 92 games last year, 92 and 70, and were the first wild card team.
This is about as quiet I've ever seen fans at a Cleveland Indians game.
Reddick does indeed hold up, and Reddick has a walk. So 6 walks now by Indians pitchers.
Well, he started, and that is not a swing. You just watch the head of the bat. Did not cross the plate.
Well, you were coming here when the stadium was built, and the Indians just had terrific teams in the 90s. And if I remember correctly, the A's were down a little bit at that time, and this was a tough place for the A's to come and play.
Richie Sexton taking Dennis Eckersley deep in the 9th inning for a walk-off. But they would sell out the 455 consecutive games. They sold out, and you could come in and watch a game where the Indians were trailing in the 9th inning. Not one person would leave. And they honestly, and I believe they felt, and it was right, that they were part of this team, that they helped their team come back as many times as they did. I mean, they were winning the division every year, it seemed, in the early and mid 90s.
See, I think if fans feel like they're part of what's going on the field, I think that makes a huge difference for your fan base.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
And I think there are organizations and ballparks where fans feel that way, and I think it helps everybody.
You know, through that success, and Tommy was showing the flags, the Central Championship, John Adams actually went through 3 drums.
So that isn't the original drum then. I should have known. I
mean, you think about, I mean, John Adams hits the drum, bangs the drum when the Indians are doing something. When those years, they were doing something every inning. So you're talking about banging the drums. He celebrated his 40th year.
Did he really?
Last year. Started in 1973 over at Oakland Municipal Stadium. 40 years of going and banging the drums. The drum.
See, I think it's just kind of cool to go up there and sit by him.
Exactly.
I mean, I think people just say, you know what, I sat up by John for a couple innings.
Yeah, sat by the drum.
Yeah. I think it's just a little bit of a destination for a couple innings in this ballpark. Callaspo swings and misses, and a changeup. Side retired, but the A's do damage. They score 4 times in the top of the 5th, so it's now 7-1, the A's lead. difference. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote for the 2014 All-Star Teacher and check out the finalist bios and video features. The winning teacher receives $20,000 for his or her school. Cute kid alert there with his tribe hat on. Not much for the Indians fans to cheer about this weekend.
Jesse Chavez, a lot of pitches, but you have to wonder, and we'll see what happens in this half inning, as that was his 90th pitch thrown, and he was at 90 in 8 innings in his last start. But because of the off day tomorrow, and Kurt Young said everybody's going to stay on turn, we'll see if he goes a little bit beyond maybe what would be expected normally. The pitcher pitching every 5th day.
So you said everyone's going to stay on turn, so that means Scott Kazmir will not be plugged in anywhere. He will pitch what I think it's Friday, right?
Yeah, with the off day tomorrow, and Kurt did say, and everything's going to kind of stay the same because it gives everybody an extra day. In the case of Scott Kazmir, a little frustrating, but he still will get the extra time. Tommy Milone, I mean, you talk about making pitchers feel great. Anytime there's an off day, sometime pitcher might get skipped because they say, we're going to keep our 4 guys. But talk about all 5 staying in turn. That means everybody feels good about themselves. They're part of the ball club and not being excluded. And of course, they've done a tremendous job. You look at the record of the starting pitchers, and then you throw in what the bullpen's done. Just makes it an even better staff all the way around.
Well, if you have a starter who's struggling, well, then you're like, you know what? He's struggling. Let's maybe miss a start, see if he can work on some things. Well, with the A's, that's not the case. 3-2 breaking ball is popped up on the infield. Donaldson coming near the mound. Donaldson makes the catch. So Aviles is 0 for 3.
So Jesse Chavez, that was his 8th full count. And then Rayburn curveball, Swisher curveball, Chisnall curveball, Bourne curveball, and this is curveball. So every time he gets 3 and 2, he drops the hammer. You know, that's the confidence he has in throwing a curveball. And it probably, he's trying to work the fastball in, the cut fastball. He struck out the 2 batters in the first inning with cut fastballs inside, but he stayed primarily with the curveball since then and had a lot of success, just throwing a lot of pitches to get there.
Brantley's been on base twice. And it's a quick 0-2.
Well, he's had a full count twice to Brantley and walked him and got a single off of Xavi.
So Brantley steps back in. Jesse Chavez, as always, he's ready to go. Jesse Chavez is a get the ball back, rock and fire. He does not mess around.
You know, the old thing about in between pitches with nobody on base, pitcher is supposed to throw the ball within 12 seconds.
That's funny, Rick. That's a funny one.
I know.
Stop being funny.
I know. I said they're supposed to. Well, I was just going to say that Xavi is about 8 or 9, so he makes up for some of the guys who take a lot longer.
Yeah, he's legitimately in the time frame.
And you know, it's the hitter, and Brantley is probably the reason that there's more time between pitches, because Brantley, for now the 3rd at bat, he has stepped out after every pitch, and Xavi's always been ready to pitch.
And he launches one to right field. Well, he waited and it worked as he hits a long home run to right field. So Brantley hits his 8th, and it's 7-2.
And you're right. Every time he's taken time, especially in the 1st inning, the 3rd inning, and now the 5th, he's taken time when he's been behind in the count. And he's walked, singled, and now homered on a fastball down and in. Just missed the location. And there's your low ball hitter on the left side. And no doubter.
So 2nd home run hit in this series by the Indians. And here's Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn takes a fastball outside.
7 home runs, solos. The last 4 runs he's given up have been a result of solo home runs.
Rayburn has struck out twice, once looking, once swinging.
And they're giving a bobblehead away on the 31st, the Jim Catfish Hunter bobblehead. Well, he gave up a lot of solo home runs. So maybe Xavi working right in. Of course, we have seen A.J. Griffin do the same thing, and we hope he's recovering nicely from his Tommy John surgery.
It's Jim Johnson warming up. But Ray, back to what we were talking about with time taken, and just watch the hitter.
You're right.
In between pitches.
You're right.
I mean, you know, and it's a pet peeve of mine. I'm not going to lie about it, but I think all this talk about delay a game and the game replay and all that's not the problem. The problem is the pitcher and the hitter taking too long. And I think maybe even more often than not, it's the hitter, but you don't notice it as much as you do the pitcher.
Exactly. Except when you have somebody like Jesse Chavez who is standing and waiting.
That's right.
To pitch when the hitter is walking out. Now, there's no reason for Rayburn to walk out. He's not going to get a sign from third base. Just stay in the batter's box.
I mean, that to me is the biggest reason why games take as long as they do. 3-2 pitch, curve inside. Jaso was ready to throw it down to third, but it's a walk.
Well, he fooled Rayburn, but he wouldn't swing at it, and it wasn't called. I think Jesse thought he had strike three. Didn't break as sharply, staying inside. But that's as good as the same pitch. And maybe Tom Woodley's thinking, I've been calling those curveballs to left-handers, and that's the same zone to the right-hander that he did not call. Yeah, like I threw it. I've been getting the call all day, and I didn't this time. I'm sure Kurt Young is telling him, you can get through this fifth inning. And Jim Johnson, who did not pitch last night, an unfamiliar role for him to be warming up to come into possibly the sixth inning. But he's trying to win games, trying to get Jesse through the fifth inning. An all-important inning for a starting pitcher to qualify for the win.
Here's Murphy. Murphy has singled twice and he stole a base, and he takes a first pitch strike. So Murphy has his batting average up to 290, 25 RBI. So Murphy having a good year. Still getting used to him in a uniform that's not the Texas Rangers. He came to the Indians on a 2-year, $12 million free agent contract.
And that will make him happy, but I think just the fact to change the scenery for him.
That one rolled to Callaspo, who has it. Flips on the run out at second base. So Rayburn is out.
That's a good play for Punto not to attempt to throw to first base, because he's going to be throwing to a moving target, and sometimes better just to hold on, which he did. 108 pitches for Jesse, a career high. And again, the first pitch strike he threw to Murphy at 90 miles per hour, 92 according to which gun you look at. But he's not losing much off his pitches. It's just the number that he's throwing. And if all goes according to plan, he would pitch again Saturday in Toronto against his former club.
Swisher goes after the first pitch, grounds it. Sogard, Chavez, side retired. Brantley with a home run, his 8th of the year. So it's now 7-2. The A's lead the Indians.
Here comes Field. How about this? Or Hershiser to Mark McGwire. The camera doesn't go up high enough. This hit off the bud sign above everybody in left field, way up. John Adams, the drummer, there's where it hit. And John Adams said that he saw the ball coming. He jumped up, and the wall stopped him. The concrete wall behind him stopped him. And he said that there was a steady stream. After McGwire hit the bud sign, he said there was a steady stream of people walking up the staircase and looking. He said, there's the dent. There's the dent.
It's probably still there.
Well, they changed the sign. I guess it got old. They had to replace it. But everybody came up to take pictures of the dent where McGwire put a dent in the sign. And they said last year, Mark Reynolds, I think against the A's, hit a ball against the A's about 8 or 10 rows from the top. They thought that was a long shot. And Ty Van Berkeley said, McGwire hit that sign. And we thought Reynolds was a shot. There it is. And that is a long way. And there are 20 rows of bleachers that go straight up, or not straight up, at an angle. And he crushed it off Orr Hershiser.
Sogard trying to do the same. No, Brent says he's got it.
Yeah, they're saying 436 feet.
Oh, my goodness. Come on.
Thank you.
If that's not, I mean, seriously, if that's not 550 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, the wall is 370.
Yeah, that's they were measuring that. Said, give me a break. Yeah,
I mean,
but that's a poke. That's right under the Cocoa Crisp on the video board. And John Adams, you can see in the stairwell where he has his drum. Yeah, I jumped up and I jumped like I was going to catch it, and the wall stopped me. It's just like the outfielder, you know, where the wall, he'll jump and stop him. But that's a long, long way.
Coco has not swung the bat a whole lot today. He's walked 3 times. Taps that one to third. Chisenhall playing in close. Throws him out for out number 2.
Remember when they were building Mount Davis and they would have the construction during the games, they would stop. Remember Kenny Lofton with Hershiser against pitching, and Lofton was playing center. And Grant, he was a great basketball player, could jump. And he's playing center. Hershiser threw a ball to McGwire, and he hit as high up on that structure, and then looked out. Lofton jumped.
He's jumping
like he's going to catch it. I said, you're good, come on. But Mac hit some shots.
0-1 to Nick Punto, who is hitting for the 3rd time. He is hit into a double play and lined to center. Lowry left the game in the 2nd inning with a sore neck. See where the White Sox today put Jose Abreu on the disabled list. He was limping around. Yeah, his ankle was really bothered him. Didn't slow him down a whole lot, at least not hitting. A couple home runs against the A's. But he was not moving real well. And they put him on the disabled.
The way he swung the bat, he didn't really have to move a lot, did he? Just trot around the bases.
Also, Gio Gonzalez placed on the disabled list today with shoulder inflammation.
Well, he rarely is put on the DL.
It's that kind of year where you look to see who goes on the disabled list every day. Martin Perez, the young left-hander for the Rangers, made it official yesterday that he will have Tommy John surgery. And Scott Atchison looks like he's ready to go. There was some talk about it, and it became official. If there's talk about it, then you're probably going to have it.
Yeah, Jose Fernandez.
Yep. Right center, Murphy can't get it, and it gets past him. And Punto is going to ease into second with a double. So Nick Punto gets the 8th hit for the A's.
It's good that he found the hole also, because he had hit the ball hard. The double play ground ball is first at bat, and line drive to center field that was tracked down by Bourne, and this one Murphy could not get to it. Did not have the slicing action back towards right field, stayed straight to right center, and Murphy, pretty good angle going after it, could not catch up to it. So a 2-out double by Nick Punto, who a late insertion into the lineup because of Jed Lowry's injury.
Well, the A's have 4 doubles today, and they have 9 doubles in this series. A's continue to lead the American League in runs scored. And that's not going to change today. 7 runs scored so far. So Donaldson is going to get walked.
I've not seen a lot of the A's players this year being intentionally walked, but this with first base open and left-hander Moss in the on-deck circle, and he is going to hit. But you cannot take Brandon Moss lightly because of his ability to hit left-handers.
He's having a big day today, is Moss. 377 the average in his last 14 games, 16 RBIs, and 2 for 2 today. He has scored 3 runs today. Triple, walk, RBI double.
Well, they're going to employ a shift to the right side, but this is where Brandon Moss, smart enough hitter that typically he's going to be pitched away, and there are times he'll try to shoot the ball to left field. We'll see if he does it in this at bat with the shift to the right side. Not with that pitch.
Moss hitting .320 versus left-handers this year.
It's just a hot hitter, and whether it's lefty or righty. Well, last night opposite field, he hit the home run to right center, a 2-run shot. Then this one, an inside-out swing against the right-hander, shooting the ball to left field, scoring Donaldson. That was the 3-run inning, in which the A's took advantage of the mistake by the first baseman.
Rolls off the glove of Santana. Punto to third, Donaldson to second.
Fastball. Well, inside, plenty of time to catch the ball. He just, well, a tough year for Santana. And Gomes, of course, does a lot of the catching. Been a day game after night game. Santana gets the start. Probably why Donaldson's so happy he doesn't have to put the gear on. Just play third base, hit the ball, catch the ball, and do a good job without having to catch.
2-2 now with Moss on the swing and miss. Moss now has 37 RBIs. Jose Abreu leads the American League with 42, and he's going to be out for a little bit. Cabrera and Cruz each with 37. Those numbers coming into today.
Figure he's going to get a slider in this pitch.
And he does, and he rips one to right field. Nobody's going to get it. And Moss is going to knock home 2 more, and he's going to be at second with a double.
See, he throws the pitches and then he hangs one, and that is a hot hitter. Okay, as you have said, you get a hot team, hot hitter, and Brandon Moss, watch how quickly he turns on this hanging slider. Boom, gone. Over the head of Murphy, and just like that with the pass ball, 2 runners go into scoring position, and Brandon Moss, who they thought they could face him and intentionally walk Josh Donaldson, they did that, and Brandon Moss comes through as he usually does.
So Moss, 3 more RBIs today, and it's now 9-2 the A's lead. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
7:05 game against the Angels. 15,000 fans will receive a Catfish Hunter bobbleheads presented by State Farm. In addition, fans can purchase tickets for a special Hall of Fame autograph session with Riley Fingers and Reggie Jackson prior to Saturday's game. For more information and tickets, visit athletics.com/1974 or call 877-493-BALL. And athletics.com on this one was not highlighted in red by Dallaire. So he must think that by the time we get to this point, I know it.
39 RBIs now for Moss.
In game number 44. Quite a season for Brandon Moss.
So Scott Atchison comes in out of the bullpen to face Cespedes, who he, like Moss, has a 3 RBI game. 9-2 the A's lead. The A's have outscored the Indians in this series 26-5.
So I guess the differential continues to rise.
26-5.
Starters in the first 2 games, McAllister and Tomlin.
Two and 1 to Cespedes, who had a 2-run double in the 5th inning.
And this time last year, Scott Kazmir was pitching for the Indians when the A's came through town and were swept by the Indians in 4 games on the way out west, and things changed after that for the Athletics.
Aviles, the shortstop, comes in on the grass. Side retired. 2 more runs for the A's thanks to Moss's 2-run double. 9-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
They did it again. They scored in the first inning, a home run by Bourne, but after that, it's been all Athletics. And it starts with John Jaso going to opposite field with a double over the head of Brantley. Josh Reddick joins him by going to left field, driving in a run. Brandon Moss was first of his 2 doubles down the right field line, and Cespedes joins him with a double over the head of Bourne in center field. So I think the A's in each of the 3 games have seen the Indians take an early lead, but after that, the A's pitchers have shut down the Tribe's hitting, and those guys, including Brandon Moss, have turned it around, swinging the bat, driving home runs, and enjoying their hot time, swinging the bat and winning games.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Jim Johnson comes in here to pitch the bottom of the 6th inning after Chavez 5 innings. Johnson pitched on Friday night in game 1 of the series. Through an inning, gave up a hit, had a strikeout, and he faces Santana, Chisenhall, and Ramirez. (109 pitches in 5 innings for Jesse Chavez.
Not surprising, a career high, and just got him through the 5 innings to qualify for the victory. The A's can hang on.
There's a shot, leaping catch by Callaspo, and that's out number 1.
That must have been Santana.
Yeah.
2 that he's hit hard today. Well, he hit the 3rd in his first at bat. And this one probably would have been a double down the right field line with it hooking the way it did. But Callaspo playing off the line and able to handle the hard drive.
You know, Ray, one of the big stories with the Indians in spring training was Carlos Santana switching to third base.
Yeah.
And he spent a lot of time practicing third base as Chisenhall gets hit. And he'll jog to first base.
Well, the hard sinker just bore in on the right shin or to the calf of Chisenhall.
Oh, 1 out base runner for the Indians. But I know he spent a lot of time. I mean, that's it. He has not played there really before this year. Big change. Spent a lot of time working on it. Could that have affected his offense at all? It's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
This is a really good hitter.
Yeah.
And you know, we're past the middle of May now, and Santana hitting now almost below 150.
But the one thing, if he were a catcher all the time, I would think it might put a little bit added pressure trying to handle pitching staff struggling with the bat. But playing third, you'd like to hope once he learned how to play and felt comfortable, and the reports I'd heard was that he kind of adapted very well to third base. You'd like to think it would take less off of him, but less wear and tear. But I think one of the problems too, you start getting behind, and Ty Van Berkeley said it, guys are trying to hit 3-run home runs with nobody on base, and you try to make up for it with one game, one at bat, instead of taking the time over the course of consistent at bats to get the job done.
Callaspo throws to second to get the out there. Nice little backhanded play by Callaspo. So that's the second out. Fielder's choice for Ramirez.
A couple of plays identically turned by Callaspo, ranging to his right and getting the lead runner. But I think anytime a player at the major league level attempts to change positions, that could have an adverse effect on his thinking at the plate. As a catcher, you have less time to think about at bats because you're involved in handling the pitching staff. Playing any other position, you may stand around and not get a ball all day, and maybe gives you a little bit more time to think about some things that are not going right for you.
Michael Bourne, a homer, a walk, and a strikeout.
Cap, you remember the old Municipal Stadium, the huge scoreboard in center field. All you saw was line score, time of day. You never saw batting average, home runs, RBI. Nope. You saw nothing.
In the lineup.
Yeah. And now there's so much. You have to just concentrate on the board.
I mean, look at that board.
Yeah, you're seeing everything you want to know about what's happened in this game. You don't have to watch the game. You can see the count, what the line score, how many hits, how many errors, your batting average, and that's the worst thing for a hitter. To look up there and say, oh my gosh, everybody's seeing that batting average.
Born with the walk. Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's not good, and players have said that especially early in the season, until they get some at bats and average. Look at that. Swisher, 199. He signed a 4-year contract and is paid the most, and now they get to look at that. Not only the players, but the fans see that as well.
So in this case, you see Aviles who's coming up. You see his average there. Yeah. And then if you just slide over to the right, you see his average again.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So the batting average is there twice in a span of 10 feet.
And people do notice what's on the board.
Well, it's to me, batting average is the most looked at number in baseball.
Exactly.
What's the guy hit?
Look on the board.
And that doesn't include the side scoreboard.
Oh, yeah.
2-0 now to Mike Aviles. There it is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's down the third baseline. It's also down the first baseline. It's also out in right field.
And then even
more pressure
for the hitter with a couple of runners on base, and you hear John Adams start pounding the drums. You're saying, okay, something's going on. I'm supposed to get a hit now.
That's right.
And Jim Johnson gets to see those numbers.
3-0 pitch is called a strike. 3-1. Michael Brantley to follow. Bottom of the 6th inning here in Cleveland. A hit batter and a walk. Good pitch there. 3-2. In fact, Aviles may have been taken all the way.
If you're a hitter, you peek up to the right field. You saw that was listed as 97 miles per hour. You said, I got to gear it up a little bit extra, and it's probably 2 to 3 miles off. According to what I found out last night, that it's a little bit, shows a little bit faster gun than what the actual pitch is.
So 3-2 to Aviles. And here it is. And it's outside. He walked him. So now the bases are loaded. Jim Johnson in some trouble here in the 6th. So that's 5 walks by A's pitchers today.
And while this is not the position that Jim Johnson had thought he was going to be put into when he signed with the club or was traded to the A's, he was traded to be the closer, having picked up 101 saves the last 2 years combined. And now Bob starts to warm up in the bullpen. And you know, for Jim Johnson, expected to pitch the 9th inning to get a save, and now he comes in the 6th inning. And what Bob Melvin's trying to do is get him some innings and get him to the point where he has consistent outs, and this inning does not help when he hits a batter and then a couple of walks, and he has the loaded bases, and the A's have a 7-run lead. And pretty hot hitter.
Yeah, maybe their best hitter right now, Michael Brantley. A walk, a single, and a home run today. Brantley 4 for 9 in the series, and the first pitch is a fastball strike on the inside corner. Ramirez at third, Bourne at second, Aviles at first. Indians do not have a hit in this inning. Johnson a long look in. Now he's ready. Curveball down and in. Brantley checks his swing. So today the Indians are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and they're 0 for 13 in the series.
John Jaso with a hard curve thrown by Johnson. A good block with the runner at third. And the curveball is a pitch that Johnson wants to throw and needs to throw successfully. But he's throwing them out of the strike zone, and then he has to come in with a fastball.
And that curveball drops low. That's a pretty good take by Brantley. That did not miss by a lot.
No.
Remember, it's where it crosses home plate, and that's almost a strike.
Yeah. Even though Jaso caught the ball on the ground. Exactly.
You saw where it crossed in front of that front knee, and that's about where the front of home plate is.
Now he's probably going to have to throw a fastball, considering he's missed with a couple of curveballs after throwing a first pitch fastball.
And that one rolled foul. Lord first base coach Sandy Alomar Jr. who picks it up. So the count even, 2-2.
Sandy's working with Santana. Of course, Sandy, a great catcher, all-star catcher himself, and trying to help out the young catchers, and especially Santana. Gomes is doing a very good job for the Indians.
Two pitch, a fastball just missed. 96 miles an hour and a full count.
Just did not have the movement coming back as much as it wanted. He thought he had gotten it, but trying to get the two-seamer inside. You can throw the turbo sinker now and try to get the third out.
3-2 pitch missed inside, and Johnson has walked in a run as he snaps the baseball back. So Ramirez comes in to score. Now it's 9-3. So Ryan Rayburn is the hitter. And Bob Melvin's coming out. So Johnson walks 3, hits a batter, and allows 1 run so far here in the bottom of the 6th. So tough outing for Jim Johnson. It's 9-3, but the Indians have the bases loaded.
Is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
So frustrated Jim Johnson, his struggles continue this year as he gets a couple outs here in the 6th, but he also walked 3 and hit a batter. So Fernando Abad will try to clean things up here and get the A's back in the dugout. Right now the Indians may be 1 hit away from being back in the game. It is 9-3, but the bases are loaded. 2 outs for Ryan Rayburn. So Abad comes in. He pitched in yesterday's game, last night's game.
I think this says a lot about Abad and his ability to handle right-handers, maybe better than lefties, and comes in with the bases loaded to Rayburn. And good curveball there for the first pitch, but sometimes lefty on lefty, it's not the kind of success, and you know, the situational type pitchers that maybe they do better against the opposite type of hitter. I think Doolittle seems to pitch better against right-handers.
No swing. 1-1 the count to Rayburn, who has struck out twice and walked. Bourne, Aviles, Brantley are the runners for the Indians. And there's a line drive, but foul as Rayburn kind of hooked it. He was out in front. So Abad ahead in the count. Rayburn waves the bat high above his head. Fastball swing and a miss. He threw it right by Rayburn and the side is retired. A run for the Indians. They strand 3. So as we head to the 7th inning, 9-3 the A's lead. May 30th, 1977 at Municipal Stadium just down the street. That's my partner catching right there. And it was the no-hitter for Dennis Eckersley again. 1977. My partner framed that last pitch perfectly. 2 batters reached base in the game. One was a walk. The other was a third strike. That was a wild pitch. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you? It was X's fault, though. It wasn't your fault.
You know what I remember more than anything?
What?
The late Bobby Bonds. I moved out so far with Bobby coming up to plate. The umpire said, no, actually Bobby said, can you at least let him get close to behind the plate?
Give me a chance.
Yeah, because Zach had that hard sweeping slider that just kept going out, and I kept moving farther out. But that camera angle, that was not a televised game. That was WKYC, downtown Cleveland. Somebody told them in the 7th inning, hey, there's a no-hitter, hurry up. So they got down and got that last shot.
So it ended up being a 1-0 final, and that's going to be another error on the Indians, and that's going to bring out more boo birds. And that's a pretty good first baseman, Nick Swisher, and he has not looked good in this series.
No.
So Jason's aboard on the E.
And this is reminiscent of what happened in 1986. Billy Buckner.
That's got Buckner.
Yeah, and right through the wickets, and Nick Swisher, and see, he came up with the ball coming up, and he should have stayed down. And Nick Swisher is head and shoulders above Bill Buckner as far as playing first base. Buckner had a bad ankle, was limping, and stayed in the game defensively, and the ball went through his legs.
And Reddick rips one to right, and the A's just keep teeing off. Jaso digging for third, and they're going to wave him home. And the throw shoots over the cutoff man, and Reddick has a double, and it's 10-3. It's amazing, Ray.
Yep.
Think how hard the Indians had to work for their one run in the top of this inning, and the A's, 2 pitches, they get the run right back.
Now, Atchison, a little cutter that Reddick jumped all over. And Mike Gallego, the ball really hitting hard off the wall and going over the head of Murphy in right field. Gags just kept sending Jaso. Jaso, once the ball went over the head of right field of Murphy, he just kept running.
So Reddick, 2 RBIs today. He now has 20 on the year, and here's Cayaspo, nobody out. It's amazing, Ray. Watch the cutup. If this is a good relay throw, there's a play at the plate.
That's right.
But it's another mistake by the Indians. It's not going to be an error, but it's a defensive mistake.
Yeah, definitely defensive. And, you know, that time, and Swisher was the second cutoff man, but it tipped off the glove of Ramirez and slowed it down. It'd have been better so to let the ball go through. Might have had a play at the plate. But Ramirez jumped, and just a high throw for Murphy, and that was a panic throw coming back in, figuring Jaso was going to be sent.
Callaspo will pop up, going to reach the seats. So the A's, 10 runs today. They have now scored 66 runs in the last 9 games. That's over 7 runs per game. And they're making it look easy offensively. Callaspo bounces one, backhanded by Ramirez, throws to first. And even in a 10-3 game, a productive out for Callaspo.
And the infield's going to have to come in. Be surprised if they don't, but they will come in for Eric Sogard.
Six doubles for the A's today.
Well, this might be to buy some time. That slow walk by Santana. Can't see who's warming up in the bullpen. Cody Allen, somebody said? Cody Allen, okay. Brad Mills, bench coach for Terry Francona. And Tony Amato, the clubhouse manager for the Indians, said Tito is taking it hard. And, you know, basically he's a fundamentally sound baseball manager. And one thing that is so disappointing for a manager is to see poor defensive play by the team, because if you allow extra runs, you allow unearned runs to score, then what chance do you have? Because you can't score enough if you keep making mistakes defensively. I think you said it best. The Indians get the bases loaded and they get a run in, and that quickly. Oh, on the right knee by Sogard. That's not good. Lowry's already out. It's got him on the right kneecap, and straight down. Walt Horn out to attend to him with the manager, and with Lowry out with a stiff neck. See, on the kneecap, that's the problem. And to get it on the muscle, but he's got a balance with Walt. Check the right knee. See how hard it came off his knee.
Well, they're smiling a little bit. That always helps.
I think Bob Melvin looking down at him all the while thinking, let's see, Lowry's already out, Punto's in the game.
That's true.
And what move am I going to make if he can't stay? So, and I think this is something that you really admire about a player, because I've seen players, that happens, they're done. They go to the clubhouse, get some treatment. And I think Sogard understands, with Lowry already out, Punto in the game, that as hard as it might be to stay in the game, and as painful as it is, it looks like he's going to give it a try. And it's going to stiffen up. The longer he is out there without getting ice on it, trying to take down the swelling, it's going to stiffen. And this is a 7th inning, and for him, the 9th can't come quickly enough. Oh, perfect.
Drives one to right field. Murphy coming in. Murphy's got it. Reddick decides not to challenge as the throw goes all the way through in the air to home plate. So Sogard just did not quite get it deep enough.
And I thought with one out he might try. And that's why I said perfect with the ball in the air. And Sogard maybe just did not, when he planted the front foot, have enough on to get the ball deep enough. But Murphy, that's airtime on the throw to home plate. A lot of times with 2 outs, you see Mike Gallego send the runner. But I mean, with 1 out, now there's 2.
So Coco steps in, 3 walks and a ground out for Chris today with a run scored. First pitch is a strike. A's have had 17 at bats today with runners in scoring position.
You know, I'm just thinking as I said that, maybe with the score 10-3, that Mike Gallego did not want to send it. Maybe
that's possible.
Not trying to show up the Indians in this particular case, but because for Mike Gallego, he is usually pretty aggressive at third, and this may be just settling down and say, let's drive him in and not take a chance on a ball that's not for sure to be deep enough to score the run.
Fastball from Atchison. Another ball inside, so 3-1 to Coco Crisp. Astros are leading the White Sox 6-1 in the 5th inning in Houston. Swisher handles this one. Mock cheer goes up, steps on the bag side, retired. Another run for the A's, so 7th inning stretch from Progressive Field in Cleveland. It's the A's 10 and the Indians 3. Without taking a look at my partner in his playing days. Look at him.
Oh, wonderful.
Just a young man with his whole life ahead of him, huh?
Yeah, no, I knew that one's going to come out.
That's our favorite. Could have been a movie star, decided to be a baseball player. We love looking at it. The first ever Major League Baseball draft in 1965. Ray was the 7th pick. Rick Monday by the Athletic.
That's right.
Some interesting names on there. But really, if you think about it, Ray, on a serious note, that draft, which started in 65, if you think about some of the players that the A's drafted starting in 65,
that's right,
and then going into 66 and 67, you start seeing Reggie Jackson and Sal Bando. All those guys got drafted from between 65 and 1970, right?
Yeah. Well,
and Holtzman. And again, some of them got to the A's through trades and that type of thing. But
yeah, a little different that age 18 to right now, but still happy to be right here in baseball. And I know the boys always find those pictures to throw out, and people say, "Who was that guy?" Yeah, they have been desperate for a winner here. I went through many years, as your brother did as well, trying to have a winning team here in Cleveland. Just never happened. And Heritage Park, of course, a great addition to center field here. The Hall of Famers, baseball Hall of Famers, and then they have plaques for others. And somewhere in there, Eck, of course, who is in Cooperstown.
Right out behind center field. It's very nice. Nice little area out there where fans can walk around and look if you'd like.
Your brother got to come out and take a look at his too, didn't he, whenever Cleveland came? But that's beyond the shrubs, the trees in center field. Bobby DiBiasio, one of the architects in that area. Heritage Park. The all-time greats of the Cleveland Indians. I'm talking about Bob Feller, Bob Lemon, Herb Score, Rocky Colavito. Real great players of Indians history. 1948, the last time they won a world championship.
Well, the stadium does a nice job. They have great pictures on the walls of former players. Their first home was League Park. Check it out.
It's probably the last game.
League Park. Well, obviously not there anymore, but they have a nice monument for it.
Well, I asked about Chief Wahoo, was at top of the old municipal stadium. There is the logo, Chief Wahoo, and I was told he's at the museum. They have a museum in Cleveland, and Chief Wahoo in the same form that was high above Municipal Stadium is there. As one gentleman told me that his kids have field trips and they always get to see the Wahoo.
It'd be fun to see.
Yeah.
2-2 the count to Murphy. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Abad back to work. And this one could be playable. Donaldson fighting the sun in the stands, and he makes the catch. It's always fun to look at Municipal Stadium, though.
Cavernous, man. 75,000 for baseball, over 80 for football. There's the football field. It was sold out for those games. And Frank Robinson, manager, Jose, fall off his donk. What happened? It's a home run, Jose. Yeah.
That day was a big day at the ballpark.
Very knowledgeable fans.
And he's seen it all.
Yeah. 1973. He got his plaque. John Adams, 40 years, August of 1973, celebrated his 40th year watching games. #1 Tribes fan.
Swisher fouls it at the plate. It shoots back toward the A's dugout. 1-2.
And I always remember walking up from the bottom level up the staircase into the front office of Municipal Stadium. You always see this picture on the wall of a sellout crowd at Municipal Stadium with the Yankees and the Indians, of course, in the years when they were winning, but just jammed packed.
Yep.
75,000 plus.
Swisher is 0 for 4 as he fouls out, so that's a good look at Municipal Stadium.
I can't remember the great, was it the Walinda, Great Walinda? Yeah. Put a wire across the stadium, was walking across, and they said over the right field area to the left, you look at the picture, as he was getting ready to take off, the roof kind of collapsed a little bit. And he go, oh, let me take off on my high wire act. But they did a lot of things at Municipal Stadium, and the best thing they did was tear it down and build a new Brown Stadium. I hate to say it, but they needed a new one, and it took a new stadium here in downtown Cleveland for what was originally called Jacobs Field and the Brown Stadium.
And you know what, Ray? They used to announce football games from the roof.
That's right, absolutely.
Now, I think that's a fairly old picture, but in the 70s and into the 80s, there was a little press box on the roof for NFL games.
And I remember Bill Keane talking about that because
you'd have to get up there.
Yeah.
And it was a long ways up. I remember watching a Browns game from up there with my brother, and we stood next to the press box. It was just a little press box, but that's where the announcers were.
That was the 50-yard line.
It was right at the 50-yard line.
For football, you could see how it ran home plate to center field. And I tell you, whenever we would go on the road when I was playing for the Indians, and they would have a concert or a football game, you'd come back, and they would literally have to paint the dirt to make it look like it was green, because it was sod field, and it would just go away. There would be no sod. So Cy Bynok and have all these baseballs with green dots on them because of paint every time they hit the field, and he'd put them in this big eraser and try to erase the green dots off of them, so he took them for batting practice.
Quite a place.
Yeah. But they needed a new one, and they got it.
Three and 2 to Carlos Santana, who is 0 for 3 today and 1 for 11 in the series.
They did a good job for this now called Progressive Field, because they built it accordingly to the city and what the city needed.
Donaldson across, and Santana, another hard hit ball, gets a hit taken away from him. So the struggles continue for Carlos Santana. Final look at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium.
Celebrate Memorial Day at the Oakland Coliseum, where 10,000 fans will receive an elephant batting practice cap presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort prior to the 1:05 p.m. matinee against the Tigers. This must-have snapback hat features a flat bill and the iconic A's elephant logo. For information and tickets, you can visit athletics.com/tickets or call 877-493-BALL.
A's fan enjoying a 10-3 A's lead here in the top of the 8th inning over the Indians.
I think he's a real Indians fan wearing A's paraphernalia. Deep down, he's really upset that the tribe is playing so poorly. But maybe they'll start playing better when the A's leave town. You have to take advantage of mistakes, and the A's have done that throughout the series.
New pitcher is Cody Allen, hard throwing young right-hander. As he faces Punto, Donaldson, and Moss here in the 8th inning. He's with 10 runs on 10 hits. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Good numbers. Look at the strikeouts to innings pitched. This young man has good stuff. He's a closer in waiting, I gotta believe.
Throws strikes, doesn't walk many batters, and fireball.
Punto fouls it back. Mariners lead the Twins 3-2 in the 5th inning. Felix Hernandez pitching in that game, and Seattle trying to break a 4-game losing streak. The Twins, on the other hand, are playing well. The Twins going for the sweep of the Mariners, but Seattle with a 3-2 lead. Flip shot into left field, a base hit for Punto. So Nick Punto is 2 for 4. So he got 2 hits. He didn't even start the game.
You know, it's still early, and this is just game 44 for the Athletics, a little bit past the quarter point of the season. But there are a lot of people watching the standings, scoreboard, and the way the A's are playing right now, the teams that are trailing the Athletics, and any team leading, you start looking, saying, well, we have to win to stay even, not lose a game. And you start thinking that way, even early in the season, sometimes can be a negative for a ball club.
1-0 to Donaldson.
I think from the standpoint of teams who are leading, in the case of the A's leading the West, you just try to keep winning and try to distance yourself between where you are and the team's trying to chase you.
Angels are chasing the A's, and the Angels are playing good baseball. They've won 7 out of 9, still 3.5 back of the A's. They'll get started against the Rays in a little bit. Price and Shoemaker.
Remember when the A's won 20 consecutive games? I think the Angels won something like 17-3 during that same period of time. Angels are capable. They have the talent. It's just a matter of everybody getting healthy and doing it.
Got a 5-hit shutout from C.J. Wilson last night. Rangers have lost 4 in a row. Donaldson fouls it back. The Angels, after wrapping up that series against the Rays, they will stay home. They're on a long homestand. They will host the Astros and the Royals this week. The Rangers, who are just underway against the Blue Jays, they will host Seattle Tuesday and Wednesday. But then the Rangers go out on an 11-game road trip. They go to Detroit, Minnesota, and Washington. So they'll play Tuesday, Wednesday at home, and then the Rangers will be gone for a while. They're facing R.A. Dickey today. A's will face R.A. Dickey next week. Looks like the A's will see Burley and Dickey in their series next weekend in Toronto. 3-2 pitches outside, and the A's have 2 on and nobody out here in the 8th. That's the 8th walk issued by Indians pitchers.
3 scored off of this starter, Masterson, and his intentional walk to Donaldson by Outman. He scored.
The A's have had 21 base runners in this game so far. It's not over yet. So Moss, who's already had a huge day, and he's got runners out there again. 3 hits, all extra base hits, 3 doubles, 3 runs scored, 2 doubles and a triple. It's a high fly ball foul into the upper deck.
I think sometimes as a hitter you don't know exactly how hard a pitcher's throwing, but Brandon Moss just found out a pretty good fastball that was tardy, a little bit late. So you turn it up a notch, and knowing that the main pitch you may be getting will be a fastball, and see if Brandon is able to drive the ball. They're playing him a little bit towards left field, not expecting him to get around on the fastball from Al.
2-1 now. So the A's have walked 8 times and only struck out 3 times. Here's your busy scoreboard. I think that may be overdoing it just a little bit.
Oh, wow. You know why they do that? Because of the shifts. They can say they have the spray chart of where guys hit, and that's the reason that the Indians are now employing a shift to the right side, because the number 5 and 6 has gone doubles to the right field that they've had no chance to get to. Back-to-back doubles. That was a triple in the first at bat. Scored 3 runs, Moss has, and driven in 3.
Two pitch is low. Good take by Moss. Now full count. Houston blown out the White Sox. It's now 8-1 Astros. That game just in the 5th inning. Outside, and there's another walk. So the bases are loaded, nobody out. And an ugly game is continuing to get uglier for the Indians. Hey, it's time to log on to csncalifornia.com and decide the player of the game. Your vote counts. The winner will be revealed during A's postgame live. Follow the action on the diamond like never before with enhanced Bloomberg stats and more. A's in-game live on csncalifornia.com. Log on now and vote.
Good at bat for Brandon Moss because you have a good day going. You think you can expand your strike zone, but Moss started on the 3-2 fastball, held up, and said, give Cespedes a chance with the bases loaded.
First pitch, not close. Santana's going to have a chat with Cody Allen. Well, the Indians will see the Detroit Tigers tomorrow right here in this ballpark.
Watch how Santana catches the ball. I mean, a lot of times the catcher can help. That doesn't help. When you catch the ball and then you end up having to take it to the ground, and granted Santana's not catching as much as Gomes anymore, but still, you know, it's almost like you have a limp wrist and you can't hang on to a ball that comes in. You just end up flapping it down, and when you take it so much out of the strike zone, regardless of where the pitch is, you try to bring everything into the strike zone versus away. And so if an umpire gives you a closed pitch, you don't get complaints from the other side. If you snatch the ball and it ends up on the ground, the umpire calls a strike, then the umpire is going to stop.
Cespedes down the left field line and off the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs scored, and the A's have second and third, nobody out. 12-3. So a 5 RBI afternoon for Yoenis Cespedes, and another double for the A's. 7 doubles.
This ball not really hit that hard. Got into the hands of Cespedes, but still almost carried out. Off the wall, couple of runners scored. And Donaldson, who has walked 3 times, once intentional, has scored the 3 times that he has walked. He scored 4 runs, and he scores on this double off the wall by Cespedes. Bradley played it well to get it back in. Otherwise, if it gone after the ball a little bit stronger, it might have been a triple over his head.
So Cody Allen does not get anybody out, and we'll be back. So the youngster Kyle Crockett comes in. Crockett made his major league debut on Friday night, so his second big league appearance. And he is the 5th pitcher in this ball game for the Indians. I don't believe any of them have been unscored upon. Cespedes, 5 RBIs. That's a new career high. He's now got 27 RBIs on the year. So the A's can do no wrong right now offensively. It's like the opposition just leaves the door open a little bit, and a trailer truck comes blasting through. He's just relentless offensively right now. Jaso has been on base twice, a double and a walk. He has knocked in a run. He has scored a run. There's a strike, and it's 0-2. Moss at third, Cespedes at second. Jaso fouls at left side. He's have 7 doubles today. They also have a triple.
9 walks.
9 walks.
5 have scored. Another walk on the bases in Brandon Moss.
Jaso tried to wait on that slow curveball from Kyle Crockett. Crockett, the youngster who spent very little time in the minor leagues. He was a draft pick last year of the Indians, and he pitched well in the minor leagues, now in the big leagues.
Seems to be a little bit sharper today than he was Friday night when he made his debut. Everything's not so new to him today as it was Friday.
Game is slowed down some, I would think. Ball tapped slowly towards second. It'll get a run home as Moss scores. Give Jaso an RBI, his second of the game. And it's now 13-3. Jaso with the RBI ground out.
Tony Amato, who's on the visiting side, or the home side, clubhouse manager, was saying today about the transactions the Indians have made, and kind of the tradition is that when a player or pitcher makes his major league debut, he gets the lineup card. About 2 in this series.
Yeah, that's right.
Friday night in Crockett and House last night.
TJ House.
Yeah. So they get the lineup cards. So just kind of running out, but transactions and the best thing, the Indians wear these uniforms they're wearing on Saturdays and Sundays at home, and then plus holidays. They don't have names on the back. That might be good, because if you have names, you have to change them. And there's some concern that you start playing certain games and wear certain uniforms, and you don't have enough uniforms or names or numbers, whatever. But a lot of the players don't like to wear these uniforms, but it's kind of the cream color they wear Saturdays and Sundays at home and holidays. So Mark Shapiro likes them, and he's the head man. So
that's all that matters.
That's all.
I like him too.
Yeah. Brad Mills likes them, and they're a nice little treat to have.
So Reddick swings and misses. So Reddick 2 for 4 now, and that's 2 outs, and Callaspo will hit.
First baseman Alberto Callaspo.
You know, it's also when Reddick hit and just 1 out, run at third, the infield played back, and it's not the giving up. It's just a matter of, do you play in and hope to cut down a run when you're already down by 7? Make it 10. Well, I think we just found out what's going to happen in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kyle Blanks is going to play first, and Callas is going to move over to second, because Sogard's knee must be acting up a little bit.
Drive to right. Murphy's there. He has it side retired. So Callaspo, one of the unfortunate ones today. He's 0 for 5. 3 runs for the A's. It's now 13-3. Toyota dealers. Another big offensive day for the A's. 13 runs on 12 hits, no errors, and the Indians 3 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. Jesse Chavez, he had a battle, 109 pitches in 5 innings, but he's the pitcher of record. And the A's offense, not just in this series, but really the last week and a half, just continue to crush the baseball. 30 runs in this series alone. Callaspo slides over to play second base, so Ray Fosse, as usual, right on target. So Sogard will sit out the rest. And Kyle Blanks now at first base. So Blanks at first, Callaspo at second. And a new pitcher. It's the lefty. It's Joe Savory. So Savory takes over in the bottom of the 8th inning. A's with a 10-run lead.
Well, and again, after what happened last night with a lot of relievers being used, and when you have 7 relievers, you can afford, in the case of last night, you ended up using, what, 4? And then this afternoon, use guys that didn't use the night before. And also, Fernando Rodriguez probably would be available today, maybe after taking last night off, pitching 2 innings on Friday. But Jesse Chavez, with the number of pitches, could only go 5 innings, but the bullpen's done a very good job since.
Chisenhall to lead it off against Savory. Ramirez will follow, and then the top of the order, Michael Bourne. Into center field, the base hit for Chisenhall. He's 2 for 3. And that's hit number 7 for the Indians.
Done it for 40 years. You just don't ever quit. Adam just keeps it going. And in a jazz band, doing different things as a drummer, not just banging the drums at an Indians game. You ever go to the Browns game? I don't know. If
I have not been to a Browns game. No.
Oh, so you don't know if he's done it over there.
He may get drowned out over there.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Ramirez flies out to Reddick and right. So that's out number 1. Albert Pujols homered in the first inning for the Angels. So they lead 1-0 over the Rays in the bottom of the 2nd inning. So the Rays will head home, get ready to host the Athletics. And the Rays 6 games under 500, and they have been dealt some major injury blows to their pitching staff. I think Ben Zobrist is on the disabled list as well. He always seems to get a big hit against the A's somewhere, but he will not be playing in this upcoming 3-game series Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Bourne swings and misses, and it's 0-2. At the Rays record, they're 19-25 and they're 8-12 at home. To short. If the A's can turn it, Punto will take it himself, and he does. So 6-3 double play, nicely done by Nick Punto, and we're on to the 9th from Cleveland. It's all A's this weekend. 6-3 as the A's going for the 3-game sweep before heading to St. Petersburg. Off day tomorrow for the A's. Kyle Blanks to lead it off against Kyle Crockett. First at bat for Blanks today, and he takes inside. Blanks got a at bat on Friday night, and he singled, and he rips this one to left, and a nice play by Michael Brantley, over the shoulder catch. Blanks hit it well. So 1 out, top of the ninth.
Good swing again by the newest addition to the Athletics. Terry Francona going to the right-hander after one swing of the big bat of Blanks. Youngster's got to be happy.
So Kyle Crockett is out, and we got a new pitcher here in the top of the ninth. The A's lead with 1 out here in the top of the ninth inning. So A's fans sporting the gold top today.
What was he going to do with it?
That was enough for him. Sometimes less is better. John Axford comes in.
We haven't seen the Mauler this weekend.
I don't think the Mauler's here, because if he was here, he would have let us know that he was here. Unfortunately, the Milwaukee Mauler, who's the big A's fan, always comes to Cleveland to see us, is not here, but he's watching at home, and we miss the Milwaukee Mauler.
Yeah.
But he knows we're thinking about him.
So as long as he's okay, then we're okay with the Mauler.
Okay, we don't like to miss him, but the A's have done okay without him here in Cleveland.
We don't go to Pittsburgh this year, so I'm not going to see him in Pittsburgh.
Any fan who wears a plastic helmet when the A's are hitting and when they're out in the field takes it off and puts a hat on. That's all I need to know.
And especially the helmet looks like the one they put ice cream in here. A tad small.
Yeah, but that's the Milwaukee Mauler.
Yeah, he keeps saying, if get me one that fits.
He's a former professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Gentry is hitting for Coco Crisp against the new Indians pitcher, John Axford.
It's amazing how the Seagulls from California ended up in downtown Cleveland, because
got here late.
They are flying around, some on the field. They must like sunflower seed shells here as well. Or sunflower shells, not seeds. Seeds are out, but well, John Adams is going to have to start beating the drum to get them off the left field bleachers.
Well, Coco was in the game. He was 0 for 2, but he walked 3 times and scored a run. Gentry getting his first at bat. Punto to follow. Fastball right into the hands of Gentry, and that's out number 2. Hey, the A's got a new pitcher. Claimed Jeff Francis off waivers. Just happened moments ago, and our great TV crew got it out to you. A corresponding 25-man roster move will be announced next week. So Jeff Francis, a left-handed pitcher, originally with the Rockies, had some good years with the Rockies and a little arm trouble. But a veteran left-handed starter. So the A's had a little rotation depth. So that just happened not long ago. Jeff Francis.
Well, Jake Elmore had a quad injury and tried to have a rehab assignment. Didn't work out that well.
1-1 to Punto, who's had a good afternoon, coming in the second inning for Lowry, who had a little bit of a stiff neck. Punto 2 for 4 with a single, a double, and 2 runs scored. He's with 12 hits, and they've received 9 walks. The Indians have made 2 errors.
If a little less than half of your runs score via the walk, that's a pretty good day. And the A's have had 6 score of the 13.
Inside corner, strike 3 called. So Axford comes in, strikes out the 2 hitters he faces. Bottom of the 9th coming up. A's 13, Indians 3.
A day again, a triple over the head of Michael Bourne in center, and then a double down the right field line. And just the beginning of a great day for Brandon Moss, and a hanging breaking ball after Josh Donaldson had been intentionally walked past ball, moved 2 runners in scoring position, and Brandon Moss brought both of them home. So Brandon Moss today, my scorebook shows him as a perfect day. 2 walks, 3 hits, drove in 3, and a pretty good day for today's left fielder for the Athletics, Brandon Moss.
On top of that, he scored 4. So you knock in 3, you score 4, no home runs, so that means you are right in the middle of all the action. So Gentry stays in to play center field, and Savory trying to wrap this 3-game sweep up here in Cleveland. Aviles 0 for 3 with a walk. So the A's and the Indians will be done for 2014 unless they met in the postseason.
Well, remember at the beginning of the season, the A's lost the opener and split doubleheader. So they lost 2 of 3 to the Indians to open the season. And that's why when the Indians came home for their home opener, it was 40,000 plus sellout. They were 2-1. But entering play today, they're 19-23. Terry Francona's team is struggled. When you make as many errors as the Indians have made in this season, and especially in this weekend series, not surprising that the A's are on the verge of sweeping the Indians after losing the first 2 of 3.
They've made 7 errors in this series, and quite frankly, they've made a couple defensive mistakes that statistically not errors.
And if you look at Brandon Moss's triple, that could have been a double and an E8 with the ball bouncing away from Bourne.
Tough play for Donaldson. Spins around, throws in time, and that is not an easy play. Well, you have to give a little ground to try to get a good hop, and he did.
But when you have a strong arm, as he catches the ball, sets, and then when you turn and throw that quickly because the speed of the runner, you have to pick up your target immediately, which he did, and it's the tall blanks at first base, and Josh Donaldson is just, you know, sure he might make an ill-advised throw at times, but the strength of his arm and his ability to handle the hard shots at third base, and his ability also to swing the bat and drive in runs, another great start for the A's third baseman.
Donaldson may get some more action. Foul territory, and he's got it.
Tarp catch.
A mini tarp catch. He seems to be okay. Bounces right back up. He's a tough guy. Slight limp, but I think he's okay.
Yeah, might have banged his knee. There's not as much foul territory here as at the Coliseum, where he made the fabulous tarp catch. He tried to figure out where he was and might have banged his right knee in to the tarp. Great concentration, knowing that he was going to have the impact, but looked like the rail was padded as well as the tarp had a little padding on it.
And you know what, we talked about the fact that Donaldson, and he does have a fair amount of errors this year, but every error he makes, it's an aggressive error.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing that he holds back.
There's something to be said about that.
You're right. You're right. You'd rather take the aggressiveness than the passiveness and sitting back and just letting things happen. But now he was a student of the game, and the A's did not take batting practice on the field, yet he was down with Adam Roden down in the video room and checking out Justin Masterson, even though he'd faced him several times. He wanted to see how he's pitching, what kind of release point, and those little things that always help. They had their fun in the clubhouse, but when it comes down to serious business, they apply themselves and get ready.
3-0 pitch is inside, and it's 2-1. Little tight strike zone late. So the A's have walked 7 Indians hitters today.
Jesse Chavez did some counting. It's a little shocking for him, but he had 7 3-2 counts and 1 3-0 count. Johnson, a couple of 3-2 counts. Abad, a 3-2 count. So Mr. Tom Woodring today, maybe considering both sides, walking a lot of batters, maybe. Well, as Jesse Chavez said, when he threw the one curveball and he gave a wow, like, how can that not be a strike?
That one is a strike to Murphy. 1-1 the count. It's been Chavez, Johnson, Abad, and now Savory. Savory trying to wrap it up with 2 innings of work. And that one's bounced over the middle and into center field for a base hit. Rayburn will round second. He'll go to third. So Murphy has a 3-hit game. So that's 8 hits now for the Indians.
And against the lefty, Murphy, who played mostly against right-handers in Arlington, Texas for the Rangers, and stays in against Savory. And Nick Swisher, who probably would have been happy to stay in the on-deck circle and say the game is over, but he gets the at-bat and turn around and bat right-handed.
Swisher 0 for 4. And there's a strike right on the outside corner with Murphy going to second. Defensive indifference. Second and third, 2 outs.
got the sirens in downtown Cleveland. You have the music for the concert getting ready, and you have John Adams.
A lot going on.
There's a lot. The thing about John Adams, he just never quits.
It's still more quiet than a lot of ballparks.
It's true. It's true. I think the right field creatures at the Coliseum and the left field drummers, and they keep the noise pretty consistent at the Coliseum for the home games.
Way inside, it rolls away from Jaso, but not far enough for Rayburn to score. Swisher had a jackknife out of the way, and then he ended up crossing over and going over toward the A's dugout.
Well, at least Jaso put enough of the glove on it that it not roll too far away and down as much as the Indians are. Rayburn started, but very wisely went back to third base. You know who also doesn't give up is our partner over here, Tom Hamilton. He is right down to the wire. He is silent as always.
Yep.
He makes the calls right till the end. There is Tom Hamilton, longtime radio voice, 25th season. Son Nick playing in the Indians organization.
Broken bat, slowly hit. Punto charges, throws on the run, and that's the ball game. So when it's all said and done, it's a sweep for the Athletics here in Cleveland, and it was a dominating performance. The A's outscored the Indians this weekend 30-6. Final score this afternoon, the Athletics 13 and the Indians 3. That's a sweep. You've been watching A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody, Bitt, and Joe starts right now.